Yes, once again, the wonderful power of muting the cats, muting the herd of cats. So you don't have to listen to their babble, their meandering, mewing. Oh, well, I guess we could at least... Perfect timing. Happy Tuesday, all. And for two of our players, for Samara and Mara, it's, well, they're teachers. So that look on their faces kind of says it all. Exhaustion, the mystery of where they buried the bodies, the assumption of passion and love, all excommunicated through poisoned applesauce. We know how this works. We've been there. We've done that. Now, question is, will they look good in orange? I think so. And we're going to start a new show called Orange is the New Mara and Orange is the New Samara. It rhymes.
I don't think so. No. We're not putting them in orange.
No,
or their characters.
No. Afraid you'll miss them?
Yes.
You'll miss them? I'll miss them.
Yes.
They're so good at what they do, which is driving me nuts with their plots and their plans and their schemes. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. I was rambling because I was taking a moment to drink some of the ginger tea that my lovely partner in crime usually has lying around. We're getting, hey, thanks, Foxy. We're getting such dramatic swings in our weather in the last 2 weeks. It's like allergies have been going off. My throat's been destroying me, as they say. So it's crazy. It's been a crazy week, crazy month, crazy year, crazy decade. This is the only year that I've ever seen us get to this point that feels like it's been 10 years. It could be this crazy busy schedule that we have. I don't know. But it works. But hey, everybody, down below in the About section is everything you need to know about us, our schedule. We have shows for you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every other Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. We are taking Wednesday off to support our Enough is Enough group for the Twitch day off, where we're hoping to encourage Twitch to do a better job with the bots that people are using for racism and genderism and hate-filled automated raids that they've been doing lately. And I've been a victim of bots from a standpoint of they're always trying to sell me shit that I don't want. And I don't think it's quite valid that those bots should be allowed to exist. So I ban them every time they pop up. So we will be taking Wednesday off from watching and showing on Twitch, and just take a day off, swim in the pool, have conversations about supporting each other and, the wonderful things that we do. But tonight's game is Denizens and their masters, and we have now been playing. We've been playing for a long time. A long time. I think we're coming up on 2 years here pretty soon, aren't we?
Let me look.
May have already passed it. This game is 2 years old. And you guys are only level 13. This is sad. It's so sad.
4/21 of 20 is when we started.
4/21. So it's only been a year and...
A year and a half.
Year and a half? Ish. Year and a half ish.
Ish.
Yeah. So Denizens and the Masters, really quick, is based in Wildmont. It's based at precisely the near conclusion of season 1, but not quite the start of season 2 of Critical Role. So we're in the timeline that's in between. A lot of the main characters are very young because they haven't aged into the second season of Critical Role. Because I like Pumat Sol. I think he's lots of fun. The Gentleman is a lot of fun. I think the Traveler is a really neat character. There are some other characters I haven't quite played around with. My homebrew character, Shulaman, is an amazing NPC. Super upbeat.
He needs to die.
Positive.
Oh, no.
He's a great guy, always out there doing wonderful and great things, right?
He needs to die.
He's one of those, is he? Oh, what would probably help is if I open up my OneNote. That always helps when I actually have my notes open. And then we will momentarily start with the recap so everybody knows where we last left off. Considering that they couldn't remember what forest they were in, things are looking dark and bleak.
It was just the name of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You remember that Samara was raised by Lexodons? Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember Samara was raised by Lexodons.
Okay, riddle me this. What's Samara's mother's name?
Oh, hold on. It's in my notes.
No notes. No, you should know this.
Yeah, right.
Magic Man, Asborn, come on.
Talran?
No.
What was I asked?
My brain is so fried right now. I don't remember my own mother's name.
Talran is one, and Kel is the other.
Nope. Shogona. That
it's
is.
Shogona. It is in character for me to not take notes because I don't care. That's your answer.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, son.
Okay, what is your mom's name?
Shogona.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Shoguna.
Why do you think I don't talk about my character's father or mother? Because they're dead.
I don't think you have. I don't think you have a father or mother. I think you were made from spare undead paladin parts. I don't think you're a.
That's a good idea too.
All right, is Talron
statue's name?
Talron
the war chief?
Talron is the war chief is Kel. Talron is the matriarch of the Luxodon clan that raised me.
And what is the name of the Luxodon clan?
The
Ivory Heart.
Oh, Tobias, look at you.
To answer it. My bad.
Hey, what's the name of that statue though? That's what I don't remember.
Sacred heart of the.
The statue of the heart.
Yes.
The statue of the heart. Yeah.
Statue of the Sacred Heart of the abandoned city of the Luxodon tribe that is now wandering about the forest in hopes of staving off the were and lycanthrope creatures. Although, see, it's super easy to remember when you put a little bit of pizzazz behind it and a little bit of flair, a little bit of narrative.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
Jazz hands.
A little jazz hands. It's all about the jazz hands, Samara. It's all about the jazz hands. I still go back to that one recorded session we had where you had your hair up in curls, Samara. It was awesome. That was so cool. That just gave me
feel like
warm
I'm
fuzzies. It
rocking
gave me
making a
warm
t-shirt with
fuzzies.
it.
here today.
I'm making
I
a
got the
T-shirt with
Hermione
that on the
Granger
front.
happening. Look at this.
The humidity is real.
Yep.
Mm.
We don't have any humidity here.
No? Oh, we have plenty of it
Hair
here.
frizzed out with angry thoughts.
Oh. What age are your students?
And
10.
10.
Yeah. Plenty of angry thoughts for 10-year-olds. Just ask my son. He used to be 10 once.
I think all of us
You were
used to be
too,
10
asshole.
once.
just passing around the
No,
meetings.
I've been 50
Don't
my
not argue with
entire
10-year-olds.
life. 50 my entire life. I'm telling you, 50 my entire life for sure.
I had to add more. To Tobias's title, so make sure I got everything right.
All right, let's hear Tobias's full title then.
His Supreme Majesty Tobias Fairweather, Pirate King of the Astral Sea, first and last of his kind, releaser and recapturer of Scourge the Undead Hydra, teller of truths, stealer of the statue of the Sacred Heart, emperor of the aerial thieves. That's it.
Like
I
75% of those were lies.
He
I like
knows
that
we only had
Robert
one
you.
potion of
Henry
fly, right?
Executioner, behead him!
I am your executioner, dumbass.
Executioner, behead yourself!
He knows we only had one potion of fly, right?
Not until I get back and buy everyone that guy has.
Okay.
Oh my god, I am
By the
so
way,
happy
the,
that I said, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sell it, I'll take it.
You guys
That's
are,
why I ask, if anyone wants them first.
You guys are so funny. So funny. In fact, you're so funny that
We're all gonna die.
no. So, where last left off, you had stashed the Githyanki ship that you'd stolen from the Astral Sea, made your way to the Luxodon camp. Once there, you were introduced to Kel, Talaron, and Shogunna, the birth mother and adopted parentage as well of Samara, and begin to learn more about the community, the Luxodons, and why they are here. Then, due to Samara's return, it seemed appropriate for her to take on the trials, to officially become a tribal member of the Luxodon community, known as the Ivory Heart. However, you took advantage of a particular young furbog salesman with his caravan of wagons offering many goods.
We didn't take advantage of him.
Oh,
That
you-
would have been an entirely different conversation.
You definitely took advantage of him.
I don't think we took advantage of him.
A
Entirely
very
different conversation.
young upstart who's just getting their fingers wet in the business of selling magical items and beginning to experiment with multi-existence, multi-plenier understanding, our young Pumat soul. And he was very cool in selling all of his gear and attainments to you. And he enjoyed the little pet mouse that you brought with you. Especially how cool it was that it rode on the little kitty's shoulder. Tobias is
I'm not
outta
that
here.
short. Thank you very much.
Tobias is out of here. Then you
I'm
learned.
6.5 feet tall. Thank you. I'm not a little kitty.
Then you learned the ceremonial understanding of the trials. For the most part, it is merely traveling to the old abandoned city of the Ivory Heart, retrieving a pebble, stone, or some other precious item from the abandoned tower,
Oh man, we forgot to do that.
and then bring it back to the matriarch, and then a conclusion of the ceremony showing that you have vision, pride, and the willingness to seek out the truth of bringing back the Luxodon tribe to their ancestral homelands within the Serengrin forest. However, you guys came across something interesting in the tower. A long thought defeated Well, the Blackheart werewolf clan seem to have regained in numbers, according to Albin, that we found out later on. And they seem to be under the influence of a particular tiefling that went by the name of Hawat. And we saw just a glimmer of Tierling's necrotic form leaving this space as he was attempting to call forth the creature or the god of lycanthropes into this world, trying to use the Everheart statue that seemed to have been recovered. Well, the encounter went quite well, actually. Even though they were horribly outnumbered, potentially outgunned, and even though they're technically, I think, tier 3 characters at this point, their first thought was, once again, just steal it and run. Let's go.
Run away! Run away!
I mean, it seemed to be effective.
So, Tobias.
We don't have a plan.
We don't.
Tobias
Our
proving.
plan is we don't have a plan.
We don't plan.
Tobias proving that size matters. Went in there super quick, flying. Were you invisible at the time as well? I think you were, right?
No, I
don't know.
looked like a little werewolf.
Oh, that's right. You looked like a little baby werewolf. That was awesome. Just a little baby werewolf.
That was a
His
fun-
little disguise ring. His little
Draw that,
through
by
the
the
air.
way. We have a drawing of that, don't we?
Yeah. You got a drawing of that, right, Tobias?
What I love is that he did
Because
this
we need that
without
on a
any
T-shirt.
plan. Just like took off, and we're like,
And then all of you using either familiars and other things to distract Hawat, who was chasing Tobias, managed to escape deep in the Saragon forest with the captured Ivory Heart statue. And when you finally were able to take the beginnings of a rest deep into to a secluded region of this forest, you all had gathered back together again to discuss what to do next. But I believe it was Tobias who pulled out the statue. It was Tobias who pulled it out?
No, I think, was it Tobias or was
we
it
took it
Sam?
out and set it down.
And
I
once
think
You
it
guys
was
asked me to take
We're in
it.
the mansion, though, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
we're-
are in the mansion because Oswald
Right.
now has the fancy mansion. He
And then-
invoked the mansion, bringing everybody safely inside, and then the statue was
I
pulled
took it
out
of
the bag of holding, which is in the shape of a rucksack, so it could fit into it. And where we're
It was
left
the
off,
duffel bag of holding.
or the duffel bag of holding,
It's a duffel bag.
and where we're last left off, the pulsing emanation of arcane light begins to swirl about this 2-foot tall statue in the shape of a Luxodon symbol. And it is an actual Luxodon statue itself. In other words, it's altered. It's shifted a bit. It seems to be also slightly a homage to the Earth Mother and her, which makes sense because the pantheon of the Luxodon is the Earth Mother as well. Luxodon head, but Earth Mother body, swirling with arcane energy. Suddenly, all of you hear equally at the same time a voice just going to emanate from the statue. Well, that was a close one. Thank you for rescuing me. And I believe that's where we last left off. What would you guys like to do?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you again.
who are you?
I am me. Who are you?
I'm me.
I'm Samara.
Ah, Samara of the Luxodon. I am familiar with you.
Yes. I'd like you to
I'm
return.
Marakai.
I'd like to
Mara.
return you to our clan, but who are you?
I am the heart of your ancestral home that you and yours are from. I am connected to you due to this. I do not recognize the others, but Water Genasi, I welcome you. And the energy pulses, shifts in color, pulses out, pulses back in. Who is the small dark one?
Gotta be talking about Oswald.
Oswald?
He seems
What?
to.
Which one?
He
Wee
seems,
little man.
He seems to
That's
linger in between two spaces. Who is he?
He's a lingerer.
Well, at least he's not dead anymore.
A lingerer.
His name's Oswald.
Oh, well, good to know you. And this fine lady, who are you?
We can't really tell who she's looking at.
She's looking
Elbow Asborn.
Yeah, she's looking at
Yeah.
Asborn.
Me?
Well, I have told you who I am. I do not know who you are.
I'm Asborn. That's it.
Asborn.
I'm Asborn, yeah.
I'm Asborn.
I'm sorry, you caught me with my mouth full of steak. I was not
Perfect.
prepared.
Perfect.
Did you eat steak?
Mm,
We
Wow.
call that.
You eat
Beca-
steak a lot. One
Eat
week in
no.
college and you eat steak? I
You don't
might hate
understand.
you.
You don't understand Alex's eating habits. It's insane.
Okay, so
This
I'll
man
explain
eats
it.
steak
It's
every
very
single day of his
quick.
life.
It's steak, bacon, fried chicken, rice, noodles. That's it.
Every day.
Still might hate you.
Half of that
It's a
would
good
make
life.
me instantaneously fat.
Oh my god.
It's a good life, a short one as well.
Well,
good
I
for a
mean,
good time, not a long time.
considering how skinny his ass is, he probably needs the.
He has years
You
to
know.
catch up to us.
Don't worry, I'm gonna hit 30, and it's all over.
If you hit 30.
True.
All right.
Sorry. So,
Speaking back to the statue, we'd like you to return you to my clan, but we do need to rest first.
Feel free. I have plenty of time.
I mean, she's a statue. I don't think time matters to her.
Yeah.
Do you know
How
how
did
long
they-
you've been missing?
I believe the heart fled the ancient city over 1,000 years ago.
How
Why
long
did
have
it
the werewolves
flee?
know?
After the calamity, the species known as lycanthrope infested these woods, drove off the Luxodons, and they hid me. It's only recently when a tiefling, I believe he was called Hawat, attempted to use my power to bring some ancient force into this world.
How
well,
would they have used you for that? As a conduit?
I believe that is a clever way of using the understanding of what they attempted to do. Opening doors requires great power.
Hmm.
kind of looked like a sacrifice to me.
But like they were sacrificing the statue?
Well, pieces of it were ripping away and stuff when I grabbed it.
Didn't it say
Oh.
they needed a sacrifice, or they were going to give a sacrifice, or was the statue the sacrifice?
Well, little pieces of it were going into the hole that was up there. So
Didn't it say it needed like blood or something? Something.
Well, Tobias is the only one that would know.
I
He's the
don't
one that
know.
saw
This
it.
is
Yeah,
all
we
that
didn't-
magic stuff. I don't know anything
None of us
about
saw
it.
it.
It says we offer to Malar.
Yeah, there was one of those little holes up there that was sucking everything in, and little pieces of the statue were like falling off and going inside of it. And then I grabbed it real quick.
Yes, the water genasi Mara is correct. I was being offered up as a conduit sacrifice to bring in the god known as Malar. This particular entity is worshipped and is often appeased or sought after by lycanthrope tribes. The Blackheart tribe is more notoriously, abound. There are many, and they are quite malicious in their nature.
What does Malar have to do with Terling?
I don't know this name, Tyrling. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Ariel.
was it Ar- Oh.
Azrael?
Zarel?
Not as
Zarel?
Zarel.
Darrell.
The name
Zarel.
Zarel is known to me. The All-Mother, she has spoken much of me, of Zarel to me. She is the great gatekeeper to the gates of Avernus, the only way in and out of the Nine Hells.
So if they want to get to Malar, they have to go through Zarel?
I believe Hawat had made a deal with Zarel by sacrificing me, opening up a conduit to Avernus, and allowing Malar to escape. Malar is a betrayer god and is, in a condition of permanent seclusion.
Oh, that's what she's trying to do.
She's trying to bring the betrayer gods back?
Yeah, it's gotta be. Because
How many are
there's
there?
Lathander.
Yeah.
And now this one. We gotta find out who the rest of them are, and so we can figure out where she's gonna hit next. I hate her.
Adam statue? How many betrayer gods are there?
You can call me the heart of the city. There are 9 betrayer gods that are well known. There are others, like Malar, that are a betrayer god, but not considered one of the greatest.
The 9 eyes. See, it's all making
9
sense now.
hells, 9 eyes, 9 betrayer
9
gods.
eyes, 9 hells.
9 is
She's letting
terrible.
everything out.
I think they just like 9.
She's making deals to let the betrayer
The
gods
first
out.
betrayer god, which somehow has managed to already escape. And I believe the only way that she could accomplish this is that Zarel has an anchor point here. She has made a pact with someone, and this pact is what's allowing her to slip in and out of Avernus.
Shulamon.
But
Shulamon.
in order for that to happen, there must be an already established gateway somewhere here in this prime material plane that is being utilized to anchor this pact.
The gateway be an oracle?
Gateway could potentially be many things. I'm merely a conduit of arcane energy that allows a gateway to be opened. One almost was, but the 6 of you protected me and closed the gate, upset whatever plans Zarel had. The 9 betrayer gods include Zarel. There is the greater demon or devil known as Dispater. There is also Mammon. There is a betrayer god that goes by, they're a matching pair, but some call them a betrayer god, Belial and Fierna. There is the betrayer god who resides in Stygia, known as Levistus. There is also the betrayer god of Mabolg. He goes by the name of Glacia. And of course, one of the more infamous betrayer gods, known as Beelzebul. And then, of course, there's Mephistopheles. And some say the crown jewel, the one that controls the 9, or at least that is what the Fates and the Earth Mother have always taught us. The great crowned king of the 9, known as Asmodeus.
Make a song now.
I'm using the correct name for your god, right, Samara? The Earth Mother or whatever, right? Wild Mother.
Yeah.
Is it the Wild
Yeah.
Mother?
No, Earth Mother.
Earth Mother. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just double checking my notes. It wasn't rolling off the tongue as much as I remember it, but I've never used her as a reference so often.
What would one of these gateways look like? Like, how could we identify it?
It would have to be a gateway to Avernus directly. It would be seen as a very wild, malicious place filled with machines, castles, demons and devils constantly doing battle in the great open expanse.
The house!
There'd be great hellscapes all about.
That's the house!
I got rid of that.
You
Didn't
got
I?
rid of what?
No, I don't think so. We just
No.
gave the house back to them and said, "Ooh, watch out! Don't go in there."
Wait, don't go in there. It's hell, remember?
I dispelled it, didn't I?
You dispelled one of
No.
the traps.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know where the gate's at.
Yep.
Know where a
Or-
gate is at,
or-
not necessarily the one.
No,
Yeah,
but
one-
there is a gate there.
But
One
just
could
follow
be
up.
the island.
Can the gateway be in a
Just
person?
wondering.
A person?
It is possible that a gateway could be, but usually those gates are sacrificial in nature, designed to consume the life energy of the powerful nature of the individual, therefore establishing a temporary gateway, allowing something to come through. I actually believe this is how Zarel has managed to escape Avernus from time to time. She clearly has made a pact with somebody.
Wondering if him breaking that orb thing established a gate.
You think there's a
And
gate?
the
No,
Dark Toe
I
is
think
a
it's
giant
Africa.
void now.
Mm,
How
think
powerful would you
that
say
helps.
is a portal born from like someone who can see the future? Would that be pretty good conduit?
That would be seen as an excellent sacrifice. I believe, depending on the nature of the person, it could either be a sacrifice to the celestial gates and allow you passage through to the other side, or potentially a creature of malice and malcontent, allowing you passage to Avernus. Once Avernus is under control and easily accessible, it would then mean that if Zarel's intent is to bring the 9 betrayer gods, well, 8, she has already returned, back into Exandria, well, this presents some challenges. What is this
Ye-
dark toe you speak of? It is not
It's,
familiar to me.
It was an island that was eviscerated with I don't know the orb that he dispatched. What was it called?
It was like an orb of planar
But
Shifting
planar
Or
shift.
planar shift.
planar shift.
Based on the description that you have given me, it is quite possible that that is now a gateway.
Someone referred to it as void.
Would having multiple
Yeah, the
gateways
Dark Toe void.
would having multiple gateways help or hinder their efforts?
I believe it will help if the intent is to bring them all back. Once all 9 gateways are open, well, one could technically shift the material plane in reverse, or bring forth the betrayer gods, release the titans, and, well, things would change.
Guys, I think
Titans
that.
too.
Do you
I
know
think
how
the
to
island
close
is
the
one of-
gateway?
Oh, yeah, how do you close
I
it?
was gonna ask.
Unfortunately, closing and opening gateways often are in nature of both forward and reverse use of magics. Someone of good condition, someone of non-malicious nature could be sacrificed to close the gateway.
Sacrifice.
Possibly reaching
You're all
out.
ready to volunteer.
Reaching out to those with great magics could potentially shut these gates through very high arcane magics. There are ways to close them. They tend to be more
But we would
difficult
have
to open.
Sacrifice someone?
It's one of many ways. You don't have to.
I thought Lathander was one of the betrayer gods.
No, he's a false god. Who's the false? false
Well,
Lathander.
I would. You don't
Dark
need a history
Lathander.
check for this because you guys gathered a great deal of notes about the
Sheesh.
shadow Lathander, the shadow god.
Shadow Lathander.
Where the traditional Lathander is called the Dawnfather and lives on the other, exists on the other side of the Celestial Gate, and his influence is more of a influence as opposed to a direct intervention of sorts. His what you've been able to figure out so far is at some point, even though Shulamon has claimed the idea of the Nine is a great lie that was created by other individual high-ranking families, what you'd learned and gleaned from both the Cobalt Soul and the returning of the artifacts was that the Nine skeletons were projected forms of the last time the Nine Betrayer gods tried to take over the prime material plane. And this was done through the creation of a shadow god that was thought to be the real Lathander, projecting its way into the prime material plane.
Oh.
And almost creating a second calamity. With the unveiling of the false Lathander and stopping the Nine Betrayer gods from crossing over, it was the monk who was shattered in the effort of dispelling the book. Now this is
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. So all this was learned based on the fact the other ship that you acquired, right? So clearly 25 years ago, a serious event occurred that a lot of the major families were contested within. And it obviously cost these families as well. So something like this, you begin to understand, has happened once before, and it was stopped. And it would appear... Go ahead.
That's where Gwendolyn was sacrificed, yes?
Possibly.
Possibly.
There are still some holes in your story. There are still some pieces of information that are missing.
Albin and his secrets.
I was gonna say, who can we talk to who would have known last time?
Correct family.
Yeah.
Got it all figured out right here.
Well, there's...
That-
what do they call those? What do they call those rooms with all the string going towards everything?
Yeah.
A conspiracy theory
called
room.
the sickness, yeah. It's called the
Panic room?
sickness.
It's called a sickness.
I haven't left this room in 2 months. That's all.
Thought
I've been
my
doing
notes
this
were bad.
season.
My notes are nothing compared to that.
Okay, so I say we take a rest. We head back to the Lexodons in the morning, and we talk to the Brecht family. See if we
You're
can
not gonna
get
tell us
straight
No, no,
It's
No,
not
because
gonna
we're
work.
still
no. There's
We're
a bunch of
still
spies
supposed
in
to
that
dead.
family.
we're still supposed to be dead. We can talk to Albin.
And Albin is now, I'm pretty sure, dead.
We can talk to Albin.
Okay.
That's
Still
about
waiting
all
for
the Brecht
knife in
family
my
we can
back
talk
from
to.
the gentleman.
I don't actually think Albin knows.
Fire, go ahead. Everybody give me history checks. Because there's a lot of information flowing, and you
History
guys are kind of
checks.
I haven't
all
opened
over.
my dice yet.
You guys are kind of all over the place.
Yes.
Oh, it's
I
a lot
brought
of
back
information.
home
I'm looking
the
at my
dice
notes.
I was
Ooh.
given.
I got an 18.
Okay.
Nice.
I can't find a D20.
I got an
Oh,
18
I
as
hear he
well.
has dice though. Good job.
19.
Yay, dice.
19.
Oh my god, maybe I should use it more. 17.
I have
Nice.
no
Yes,
plus
you should
in
use it
history.
more. That's the point.
Tobias, Oswald, what'd you get?
Oh wait, 17 plus 6. 23 actually.
Nice.
Holy moly.
Woohoo.
I did not know I had such a high wisdom on.
Here's a
Honor.
description of my
History.
history check. What did we do yesterday?
History is intelligence, not wisdom.
History, I got
Yeah.
at 27.
Okay. Tobias is distracted with the idea of how much they could sell the statue for, so he's been eyeing it up quite
I'm thinking of
extensively.
his
That's not
title,
surprising.
adding more things to his
Thank
title.
you.
Every
the
time he
raid.
tries to reach for it, I'll smack his hand. Out of
Raid!
here! Out of here!
Raid!
Hey, Carney, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. We are currently in Wildmont, and we are currently at the Luxodon camp of the Ivory Heart in the Syringrin Forest, and we are beginning to piece the puzzle together of a very long campaign of what could potentially be the main arc beginning to show itself. And thank you so much, everybody, for the follows. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Every time we think we're in the arc, we're like, no.
Yeah.
I'm just looking back at my notes here, and it says
So, as a group, I'll say your history check is decent. unfortunately, with Tobias's distraction, sizing up and kind of trying to figure out how much this statue might be worth, and clearly worried about his Githyanki ship. He's always worried about his Githyanki ship.
My ship.
We should have sold it to Puma.
There's a couple things that kind of percolate to the surface of your thoughts. Number one, there is the history of your sister and the belief that the Firecliff or Brightcliff clan was wiped out by you. It's one theory. And she obviously earned the name the Butcher on Darktoe, as well as seems to have a personal vendetta against you. There's also at another point, somebody had a vision of the gentleman as a young child when Gwendolyn was a young child.
I think that was Sam and I.
Wasn't that me?
Yeah.
I think that was Sam and I when we used in the eye
So
of
clearly
knowing.
the gentleman knew who Gwendolyn was as well. There's clearly the involvement of the Sinclairs. They seem to be the main financier and major conspiracy behind a lot of this activity. And even though their particular fiefdom is not large, the amount of wealth that they express throughout the Morrow Valley in a kind of pseudo arrangement with the Dwendals is known. And then obviously
Was
what
Gwendolyn with the gentleman, or was she with Shulamon?
at some point Shulamon had expressed how it was all a lie, and
He
that
was in love with her.
they took Gwendolyn away from him. There is also the shared unknown history, because Fire's memory has not been fully revealed, as to where Fire really came from. Yes, sure, she ended up in the Cyrios Mountains up at the monastery that took her in.
Yeah, but that was only like 2 or 3 years ago.
But during part of her memory reveal, she rode alongside and was in the employ
The gentleman.
of the gentleman.
And the gentleman knew me as a baby. Or at least met me at least once.
What? So, if Shulamon, maybe Shulamon's just doing that to get Gwendolyn back. That's his motive, maybe.
How very romantic. He's still an asshole.
Very
Okay.
romantic.
No,
Where
I
does
know.
he
I'm
think
just
Gwendolyn
saying
is,
that
though?
Another
romantic's
thing, though-
romantic, but I think he's obviously really pissed off about it from the conversations that he had.
So the Brecht family, I mean, they're a family of spies and stuff. So what if Gwendolyn was getting close to Shulamon as a spy and, not really in love with him, and then he found out that, she didn't really love him and was just trying to play him and get him,
Nah, it sounds like he's like
And
in love
then-
with her.
that's
Oh,
why
because
she got called
she-
back. Oh yeah,
She was
because
mad
we
at her
trust him
family.
because we
Yeah.
trust him to be truthful to us, right?
No,
No,
listen.
no, I spoke to Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you trust
Really, when I
this,
say I spoke to Gwendolyn?
person that we know you spoke to Gwendolyn because
I don't remember.
we trust this dead person, who could or could not be lying to you,
Sure,
or
but
might
she's
be just
pretty
or
upset
might
with
be
her
just
family.
might be just like Tira Ling pretending to be Gwendolyn.
We trust you, and you're a mass murderer.
No,
so
'cause
come on, give
I'm
us a
not
break.
a mass murderer.
And I think we also saw Terling at the wedding. Pretty sure
Only
I
you
did.
did, I thought.
We did, yeah.
Um,
But I also saw them both, so I don't think it was.
Who can we
So-
talk to that was going to be straight up? We've got all these spies and liars all around us. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
And the gentleman obviously knows what happened. He's
I
not
know.
saying anything.
oh, what
We
about,
get
like,
the
Fortuna?
gentleman in a zone of truth
Right.
next time we talk to him.
And I use my eye
Like,
of
that's
knowing
good.
on him.
I can hear him already. First of
Let
all,
me
he's
use
got
the
a
eye of
trillion
knowing
magic
on him.
items. Second of all, the first thing out of his mouth will be, I use my legendary action 2, and then add whatever horrible thing that is going to happen. That would defeat whatever we tried to do, and then he'll just be mad at us.
Legendary action.
Can
What,
he
what's
just
a
like
legendary
talk
action?
to us?
Um,
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
okay,
he's
so-
just gonna talk to us.
he's obviously very much a part of whatever's going on, whatever his motives are.
Yeah.
We obviously have seen with our own eyes a vision of hell in that house, which is very close to everything, very centrally
Only
located.
had
which the
Right.
gentleman originally which the gentleman originally had us go into, right?
Right, and he's lying sack of shit. He knows exactly what was going on. So he's got something to do with this because he knows everything. He's been there from the beginning. The gentleman
His
is the key
fingers
to
in
finding out
everything.
everything because he
We
was
need to talk
there.
to him.
He was there with fire, and he knows everything that happened to get rid of the 9 to begin with, back in the
So
day.
we need to talk to him and be straight up and just at this point, can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Tobias. We have to just lay our cards on the table.
Want to go to the
See how
gentleman?
that
Do we
works,
wanna
guys?
go to,
Finally!
wanna go-
Finally!
Well, I mean,
You
at least
just say
the
what
Cobalt
is
Soul
the
or
real
something.
thing, and then people talk back to you and tell you real things, and everything works out.
I think right
I'm
now
not
the
a
gentleman,
convert. I'm writing this down in my notes. Today,
Mara agreed with me.
today Mara agreed with me. Yes. Okay, so I think the gentleman's the only one that we can really confront about any of this right now because he already knows
He's
we're
the only
alive.
one that knows we're alive.
Aside
I
from,
agree.
I mean, Tyr Ling, who knows we're alive. So,
So when we
Shulamon
get
probably
back-
knows we're alive.
when we get back, we'll have your hubby contact him and tell him to meet us so we can talk to him.
Well, her
I
hubby
wanna
is
contact him.
at the Lexodon.
Lexodon.
The Ivory.
Well,
yeah.
that's what he's saying when we get back to the
we can
Lexodon.
have him contact the gentleman so we can talk to him.
True.
Have a little.
All I know is I'm
Talk
very
to him.
owie right now, and I need to go lay down.
Okay.
We'll take a night. We'll
Okay. I'm gonna go find a room and lay down because I have 2 levels of exhaustion and 1 hit point.
No, I thought I cast Greater Restoration to get one of the levels off.
No, that
Oh,
took
did
care of
you?
that took care of the curse.
I thought it does. Is it lesser restoration that does exhaustion?
I believe possibly, but it doesn't matter. Your restoration only would be applied to the
No.
curse. It's not.
It'd only be one.
Correct.
So I have 2 levels and 1 hit point. So I need to go lay down for a little while.
I turn around, I notice
go-
that you're
go take a
just
night.
you're barely hobbling
Gotcha,
along.
yeah. It's or and one of the following effects. So I could cast Greater Restoration on you again, and then you'd not be exhausted in the morning.
That would be fantastic if we're taking a long rest and you're going to get
She
your spell
probably
slots
needs
back.
to
I'm
get
fine.
healed a little bit too and feel better because
Well,
the
the healing will happen with me resting. What I need is those levels of exhaustion gone because I have 2 of them.
As long as
You-
we don't get interrupted, then her healing will happen.
Okay,
But
yeah,
if we get
because-
interrupted,
we get interrupted all the time because we're the storm chasers.
We're in a
yes.
magic mansion, so no
We're
one can
in a
interrupt us.
storm.
That is
Yeah,
not.
there'll be somebody that's gonna get
I
rid of
mean,
it. Poof. and
don't
we'll be
jinx
laying
us.
there.
Yeah, because they can totally. I mean,
Oh,
I
my
saw
magic,
it on
my
TV.
magic weak.
No, I'm not calling
This
you
is
magic
TV.
weak.
Not
No.
you, not you. I'm talking to the
I'm
rat.
just.
Rest.
Okay, so
Is this
I
a
am-
little man syndrome thing?
I think so.
You got to get over that.
I'm casting Greater Restoration to get rid of one of her levels of exhaustion too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
right,
and
I'm
then
gonna
I
mark
am
that
going
down.
to, and then I'm going to channel divinity, and preserve life, and give you what's half your hit points. Is it-
78 divided by 2.
Okay, then take half your hit points because
39.
I can do only
I mean,
do channel
I'm
divinity.
also about to, but I'm also about to go to sleep. I think that'll take all my hit points back.
I know, but I can get that back with a short rest, so it's okay.
I always she
Okay.
thinks someone's dispelling our mansion.
I'm
today.
just saying we should probably close up the
I'm
dashing
just
wounds on you.
saying-
Ivar, I
Before you
swear
go to sleep.
I swear you're in love with that Tiny Tom Cruise meme. You use it so much now.
'Cause I just think of when I
Be
think of
able to see
Oswald,
the
I think of
chat.
Tiny Tom Cruise.
If we
There we
don't
go.
do
All right.
this, if we don't do this, then that just makes it more likely that we'll get interrupted.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
It's Murphy's law, or I suppose it should be Jason's law.
Not my law.
All
I
right.
don't make the laws.
Alright,
I
while
merely
Fire-
bend them.
While Fire is doing all that, can I go sneak the front door?
I think Sam should take care of the statue too.
So, Samara, you're
I
taking
think we should
a
put
rest.
the statue back in the duffel bag.
Put the
Miss
statue back in the
Statue?
duffel bag and I'm going
Miss
to sleep.
Statue, can we put you back in the duffel bag?
I
To
would
keep you safe.
prefer not to. I am enjoying being with you.
I know. I worry.
There's a
Okay.
pulse collides with the tower. Do not worry. We cannot be found.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go sleep.
Same.
Flying really takes it out of you.
Flying,
I'm gonna-
thievery, near
gonna
death.
tell-
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Ember. I'm gonna pull out Ember, and I'm gonna say, I want you to stay with the statue, and let me know if anyone comes near, other than our party.
You watch
Okay.
as Ember flits over and flies through the pulsing arcane light around it, and for the first time you see her true form. A fey dragon
she?
that flies there momentarily in her kind of purple and black iridescence. You can even see her internal arcane-like organs pulsing with life as she flies out and then lands on a nearby chair.
Ember, you're so pretty.
I see her guts.
Well, at least we know she has them.
Gross.
Okay.
That was
So-
my first dog fight too. Aerial combat.
So Samara, you are resting. Tobias, you are resting. Fire, what are you doing?
I'm gonna set up my bedroll right there next to the statue because I'm still paranoid.
Okay.
Trust issues.
Asborn, what are you doing with
Trust
your
issues.
time?
I'm gonna try and contact my stupid dragon-loving brother.
You can't do that
Are you
inside
going
the
outside?
mansion.
I was gonna sneak outside.
Yeah, I was gonna sneak
Nobody
out.
sneaks
I
outside.
said it first.
I'm just gonna go outside,
Just
send a
sneak out
message,
to
come back
opposite
in.
sides of the house.
Never break up the
One
party.
door.
If we don't
Throw
see
me a
each
door in
other,
the
it
middle of
didn't
the-
happen. Just go 1 hour
Door
later.
in the middle
Split
of-
the party. Split
So
the
Mara
party.
and Asborn, go ahead and give me stealth checks just for a base so I can operate off that number.
My
Oswald,
passive perception's 19.
Oswald, what are you doing with your time?
Ugh,
I'm looking to see if anyone is sneaking out of the tower.
13.
14.
Yeah, Mara and Asborn are, obviously sneaking very carefully out the tower.
Where are you
Hey,
guys? Where are
Hey,
you
what are you
guys
guys
doing?
going?
Hey, no, only I see them. I'm looking.
Need to
There's
pee.
bathrooms
Pee.
here.
Nope,
There's
I really
bathrooms
like.
here.
I need to do
Fresh
girl
air?
things. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
We're mostly girls. Come on. What the heck?
Nah,
No. I don't want Oswald and
Fresh air.
Tobias. Yeah,
It's
I
not
need to do
safe
girl
out
things.
there. It's
She's gonna
not
talk
safe
to her
out there.
lover, and she can kiss
No, we're together,
and
so we're
hug
fine.
her.
Guys,
Fine.
you guys are gonna get attacked by werewolves.
I give her
I'm
like
basically a werewolf.
the
It's fine.
wave as I
You're a
walk out.
werebear.
I'm better than a werewolf.
No one
Yeah.
should
It's
leave.
fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. We'll be right back.
Uh-huh.
You should sleep first, and then we should
I'm
all
not
go.
gonna come and find you if you
All
lose
of my hit
yourself.
points. I don't. There's nothing a long rest will get for me.
So Mara and Asborn, you make your way not so cleverly out the front of the tower.
Hi.
Samara, Tobias, and
You're not
Fire.
back in 10 minutes. I'm coming after you.
All right. Oswald, what are you doing? Now that you've helped the jig is up.
I'm gonna go up to my room. I'm gonna mess around with the little egg on my chest. I have an idea.
An
That
idea.
sounds disturbing.
Wait
Okay.
a second.
You take a butter knife with you to try to pry it out.
Tobias, you slip off to sleep. Samara, you eventually slip off to sleep. Asborn, let's start with you. You watch as Mara finds a little secluded grouping of trees. You are equally as fortunate to find some trees as well. You make your way over to them. What do?
I'm going to pull out my little eagle totem
Okay.
and then contact my brother. See if he's alive.
Okay. There's a ping of energy, arcane dot that kind of feeds the sense that not only is he alive, but he is in the continent of Taldori, and he is in Whitehall.
Me searching up where that is.
Whitehall is the home kingdom to Percy.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to the tower.
And you do have a recollection of the fact that when he told you if he is ever in Whitehall. That means that he might be amongst the summoning of council, and that with any hope, the new organization designed to bring dragons back into the fold could also be possibly happening as well.
I
That
like
is
dragons.
something that he very much focused on.
Yes. My brother's playing with dragons again. Sounds about right.
Okay. All right.
I want to play with dragons.
You are
Oh, wait,
in
I have a
amongst. You are in amongst the trees. What are you doing?
I'll
Peeing.
pull out my setting stone.
Peeing.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll pull out the setting stone. Albin's available.
Okay. Did you pull it out? There's a arcane return of. I can't really speak right now. A bit surrounded, but we are okay. We were able to evacuate the camp, but we're doing our best to evade them. Where are you?
Safe. You're in a forest. Magic mansion. I was going to alert you of something to be aware of for tomorrow, but we'll chat later. Please stay safe.
I've got a few minutes. I could come find you with the others.
Are you close enough to come here?
No, I don't know where you are. I know that you're in the forest, and you're
Oh,
in.
I don't know where I am either.
Give me a survival check. Kid aggro. I know that look.
Mhm.
Is that a survival check?
Yeah.
17.
You're about half a day southeast of the encampment.
About half a day southeast of the encampment.
I will force march us in that direction. Kel and Talaran are fine. All are fine. With your warning, we were able to evacuate the camp rather quickly. They are adept at moving rather fast. And I have already sent a message to the gentleman to let him know that the Blackheart lycanthrope clan is very much still active and alive in these woods.
Well, I just want you to know, the group is gentlemen tomorrow. They all the cards on the table in search of more information.
Mm.
We're able to speak with Earth Mother, rescued statue.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. I can't hear you, Mara.
Oh,
Something about Earth Mother statue.
we were able to speak with the Earth Mother through the statue.
There you go. You're back. What statue is this?
The statue we rescued.
You rescued a statue. We're rescuing inanimate objects now.
No. It was the quest Samara was on.
Well,
Right.
my understanding is that was ceremonial.
Yes, we brought back a rock. I'm not there.
Well, actual statue, we've got that. And right now with us.
I
Earth Mother
will.
was in it.
I will confer with
No.
Talran and Kel.
She'd
remember,
already told
it
him.
was a surprise. It was secret. I don't know why I wanted it between us.
If anybody knows about the danger of secrets, Mara, it's you and me.
I know. I know, but
So you
Wanted
do
you
not
to
want
have a
me to
heads
tell
up.
them.
no. I just wanted you to have a heads up that they are going to be asking to see the gentlemen.
Are you in danger?
Currently, no.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
Be safe.
Okay. Sending stone goes dim. You make your way
Well,
back into the tower. Oswald, you are up in your main chambers, which is a circular chamber littered with every memory of every book you've ever written or read. including all the histories and gatherings of a couple lifetimes. You are currently on your third life, I believe, as the halfling form of Oswald. You were once a paladin, and now you were a student of the Cobalt Soul, or at least took on that form, and here you are as Oswald, and you're kind of pacing in your room, looking about, tapping the stone in your chest with the little entity inside of it. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try and focus the energy of the egg to create something.
Okay, give me an intelligence check, please, for starters.
That's a 22.
22. You feel yourself attuned to it. You can feel the arcane nature of it, but it's almost too much for you, but you hold on to your sanity while realizing that there's a fusion of both arcane energy and psychic disturbance that is now connected to you. And then you hear a voice. Yes, I sense you. What do you want?
You don't sound as nice as the last time I talked to you. Are you a different voice?
I am not the Storm Lord. I am you. I am this. I am what I am.
If you are what you are. Earlier today, was it you who kind of completely obliterated the arm of a werewolf?
He tried to use magics on me that I do not like. I defended us.
How far-reaching is that ability exactly?
Defend myself. It just so happens I defend you.
Here's my question. Can you use it to create things or change things instead of just obliterating into atoms?
You are creation. You are change. Have you already forgotten his words? He will change the world with us.
He's not the greatest person. No.
He is neither a thing or a them. He is the Storm Lord, and you will be his greatest creation. I will see to that.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, like the very edges of your brain are like hurting, like the psychic energy that's being pulled from you. And meanwhile, you look down, and the little kind of little larval state creature in your chest is just pressed up against, with one giant eye against the gem, just looking up at you. Its eye just kind of looks at you unblinking, and then swims away and drifts.
I'm going to sleep.
Okay.
'Cause that's not creepy at all.
So, courtesy of the heart of the city, the mansion, for the first time in a long time for a group of you, you sleep without having to stand guard. You sleep unmolested, unchallenged. Fire, give me an intelligence save.
Can we mark off our long rest while she's doing that?
Sure.
Do I get to mark off a long rest?
Depends on your intelligence save.
17.
17. During your sleep, you have the strangest dream. You're in a community built into the side of a cliff. Your mind believes it to be the Cyrios Mountains. The cliffside facing the deep northeast, nearly a stone's throw away down into the beginnings of the Menagerie Coast. North, the Zarhashian border, southwest, the Maro Valley, the western areas. And you could smell the salt and the air of the onshore breeze drifting in along the base of the mountains. Alongside, your sister sleeps, leaning up against a tree. She looks up at you. She's very young. Kind of look at your hands in your dream state. Your hands are very young. She just looks at you and goes, "What do you think he wants? And who in the hell goes by the name of the gentleman? How's that even a name? I bet you he's creepy. I bet you he's in the slave trade. I bet he likes exotics like people like us. Guaranteed." She'll wait your response. "What's wrong with you, Fire? You seem all out of sorts. Let's go swimming." And she gets up and she begins to walk down the side of the cliff face to where the local watering hole is.
Do I remember what my sister's name is? No, I'm not muted, right?
No, you're fine. As you watch her walk away, you don't know where this pulse of light comes from, but you do recall falling asleep next to the statue. There's almost this heat that kind of pulses into you. As you stare down and you yell in your sleep, "Banisha, wait!"
Ooh, how do you spell that?
Banisha. Banisha. Banisha of the Bright Cliffs.
Huh.
She is making her way down the side, laughing and giggling. She gets to the watering hole and she dives in. A few seconds go by. You're already in that same watering hole, swimming. You look over to see they could be your parents, but you don't remember their names. You want to. You try. You lean into your mind. And there, the familiar younger form, even younger than you're currently remembering. Gentleman, he must be in his teens in this image. His genasi form, his long white and brown hair mixed with blacks, dressed in very simple attire, but a flourishing cloak kind of off his shoulders. If they are your parents, they call out to you and Benicia, "Fire, Benicia, come, we have a visitor." You wake up. Long rest. The pulsing statue nearby. Everybody begins to wake. It's the following morning. Everybody's had a long rest. What would you guys like to do?
Get going back to the Loxodon camp.
Do I remember my dream?
You
They're
do.
coming to us.
Go down to.
Oh wait, but
Well-
we don't know that because Mara,
Yeah.
did you tell us about the Luxodon?
I'm going to Mara. Be like,
Yep,
what do you
guys are all
say?
asleep.
So Oswald, you come down from the above chamber. Asborn, Samara, Tobias, Mara, you all gather in the main central portion of the Magic Mansion. Fire is actually just waking up, asleep nearby. And you guys all here at the same time. "Good morning. I hoped you all slept well."
Yeah.
We did, thank you.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Do I feel well rested?
Feel like you've been sleeping.
Or like, yeah, but like,
You feel a little odd.
mhm.
You're right there, Fire?
Weird dreams.
Okay.
I had a dream that Tobias was normal size. He was the
That
worst.
Of course you did.
That would be
Ain't
fun.
normal size.
Oh, there he is.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
normal size.
it'd be cool to have a 6.5-foot mouse.
Would it though?
It would.
I think
Tobias
I
is
don't
the
think
same height
so.
as me. That would be cool. Can you imagine how much damage he could do? Oh my gosh, that would be super.
Imagine waking up and seeing him in the night. His eyes just glowing red. I could not.
I mean, I sleep in
This
the same cabinet
mass-
than most of
This
the time.
massive
so
man of a mouse.
I think that'd be cool. He does
Alright,
so much
well-
damage when he's pint sized. Can you imagine if it's like? Oh, that'd be cool.
Tobias, they're talking.
Size.
Tobias, why are they talking about you in the third person? It doesn't seem
They
very
always
nice.
do this. No, they're really horrible people. But
We are.
I've
really
learned
are.
I've learned to put up with them.
You watch as a
Over there.
tendril of energy pokes off the statue, slams into Tobias. Tobias is now 6 feet tall.
I really hope that's not permanent. Tobias, look!
I go over to Oswald. I just look down at him. I just go,
Wait, I thought Oswald was tall.
He's
Oswald
a halfling.
No,
Nice.
Oswald's a
Nice.
halfling.
halfling.
Oh,
He's a
Oswald's
halfling.
the halfling. I was thinking.
You watch-
Osborne. I don't know.
You
why.
watch as the tendril disconnects, and Tobias goes back to normal size. Tendril,
That's
Oh.
what I thought, idiot.
it,
Yeah,
it kind of withdraws back
Oh.
into the statue.
Oh
Ah,
my gosh! Oh my gosh, that was cool.
Yep,
We should.
you gotta take.
I'm gonna draw that in my journal.
ah. Can't you make that
All
permanent?
right.
I am
I
sorry.
thought you said you
but
liked being normal
it
size.
seemed to please you that if you could be that tall, I thought I would share that experience with you.
That
What'd you
was
think? What'd you
awesome
think?
looking down on other people.
Is it?
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah. I usually am looking at their kneecaps or their crotches.
You are very
I'm in
strange.
a world of crotches. Do you understand that, right?
You are a very
You know
strange
what-
one, Tobias.
you don't know what that is like.
That's why you ride on my shoulder most of the time.
I'm a magical statue contained in. Never mind. I think
Oh,
I
so you
understand.
said-
I
are
think I
we-
now understand what the others mean.
Are we okay to touch you normally? Because when we put you in the bag, didn't we use mage hand or something?
No,
forgetting what we
it
did.
was
No,
just
I just
kind of
I
put
just
over
went
it.
like that and
But I think-
pulled it up.
I think it was
He
the
took
spell
necrotic
that
damage
was,
from the portal.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was
but are
like-
we okay? Like, we're not going to
I'm
damage
gonna
you in
touch
any
it.
way.
Defend you?
I'm gonna
If
touch the
you-
statue.
You just
Don't
said
touch my stuff, Fire's hand. No,
You watch as
no.
Fire goes to
Sent.
touch it, and you watch as a kind of dissonant, transparent hand pops out of the statue, and it like grabs her finger and then shakes it like this, and it goes back in.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Fire of the Bright Cliffs.
Can I pick you up?
You can certainly pick me up. That would be fine.
Okay, I'm gonna pick her
How
up.
would you like to be transported?
Would you
Just
prefer the bag or would you prefer to be carried?
carried with
She didn't
me.
want to go in the bag last night.
My existence is multiplanar. Putting me in the bag is the equivalent of putting me in stasis. I did not find it appealing.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to pick her up. How heavy is she?
It's not heavy at all.
I think
Oh, hey.
I think Sam
carry
should
her.
carry her.
I mean, I am supposed to take
I
the
mean,
statue back.
She is like part of the tribe and all.
Her quest.
I
Y'all
think she
didn't
should
even
be
wanna
in
touch
charge.
it.
And
All of you hear a
Sorry, get back.
strange knocking on the door.
That's not a good sign.
No, thank you.
No. Albin was kind of.
No one's home.
who is it?
What?
Luxodons were overrun by the werewolves.
What?
See?
And you're just now telling us this.
I look outside. I look at the peephole.
Speaking. They're fine. They were fine. They
Look
like all
at-
got out.
Okay.
I told
Oswald-
Albin where we were,
Oswald
and so they were
can-
coming here.
Well, first of all,
Make
knowing
the
Oswald,
door.
the peephole's at least 6 feet tall. Just to make it
Alright.
difficult for Tobias.
Well, I
I
can't
push
reach
a
you. Do you
chair
want
up.
a boost?
I just push a chair over there.
You kind of shove Oswald against the door and leap onto Oswald's shoulders,
Okay.
and then you look out the peephole.
At that point, he's still only 4 feet tall.
There's at least 3 dozen Luxodons and a very tired and exhausted looking Albin.
Oh, it's a date. Someone's got a date.
Who's outside?
It's someone's love outside the door.
Well, it's not
Come
mine.
in.
I open the door.
They
Welcome
they
to
can't-
Mansion Tobias Fairweather.
They can't come in.
They can't
Oswald,
come
let's
in
give them
because
permission.
Oswald's the one that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oswald, what's the maximum capacity for the Magic Mansion? I forget.
Is it 10?
I believe it's 12.
12?
12?
But
Alright,
we're
I'll
just going outside.
I'll just walk out then.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just walk outside.
Can't stop me from walking out.
Okay. I'm gonna. Sam, you need to take the statue.
I grab it from her.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't walk out with it yet. We'll introduce you.
Yeah. We'll introduce you. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Or
got a plan. I
announce
got
you.
a plan.
Announce you. I think it's announce
Just-
you.
Just
We'll
stay
announce
just stay inside. I got a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust them.
Big fanfare. Big fanfare.
Big fanfare.
Big fanfare.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm holding the statue and waiting.
I will not
Go and I
make you
grab
the
Albin and we
frog.
walk off.
Amar just like shakes her head, walks through all of you, sees Albin, grabs Albin, and the two of them walk off into the forest.
So we're gonna walk outside. We're gonna leave Sam inside, close the door,
Okay.
and
So,
come out and say,
Wait, you're closing the door?
yes. I have an idea. Don't worry.
Okay. Tobias, up on my shoulder.
What am I, your pet?
No, I just don't
Everyone
want you
seems to
getting
think so.
squished.
Well, hello there, little
Oh.
fella. Would you like a peanut?
Ooh, Puma came with them?
No.
Oh, God.
We're
I
gonna,
fire all three of my pistols at his forehead.
we're gonna turn to the crowd to say, ladies and gentlemen, you sent us on a quest to recover your statue for your people's pride or whatever the hell, and we have astounding news to share. Your tribe member and greatest member of your tribe by a mile, Samara, recovered it. And I'm going to, as I do that, I'm going to turn off the Magic Mansion.
And just dump
I'm
her
standing
out.
there like
Don't
this.
smell you.
Yeah, just stand there with the statue, and I'm going to cast.
Like prestidigitation.
Yep. Yeah, let's just
Fireworks.
minor illusion of fireworks around her.
Yay!
Not
And
that
there's-
tall.
And
Not
there's
that tall
Samara
because
standing there awkwardly with the statue, just looking. Kel, Telren, and Shogunna are staring at her with their mouths open. All of the other Luxodons begin to turn and look at each other with incredulous and kind of shocked look on their faces. Telren steps forward and moves her hand and dispels the illusion. Is this true? Is that statue from the tower?
Look at
She
Sam.
says that
Look,
she's
you
the
guys-
Earth Mother.
Come forward, Samara. Show me.
I bring it forward and set the statue very gently in front of her.
Earth Mother, heart of the city, heart of our life. Do you beat? Are you there? Yes, Taran. I am here. It saved me. I was being used as a means to create a doorway to something rather evil. These individuals here saved me from this inevitable conclusion of the destruction of me. The Earth Mother listens. She speaks. Your family line is greatly remembered, Taran. Taran just immediately drops, prostrates to her knees. You watch as the rest of the Luxodons do, as well as Shogunna, and they begin to weep as 1,000 years of exodus and exile appears to have finally concluded. And they weep
looking around.
and they weep.
Should we be kneeling too?
I go and kneel next to my mother.
Okay. Your mother
I'm gonna
turns.
stand. It's a statue. I don't care.
Your mother turns towards you, Samara, with tears streaking down her face. I never thought these are fables and stories. These aren't real things. What happened, daughter? How did this happen?
And I will explain about the werewolf tribe we came upon.
The Black Hearts?
And
Yeah,
what
we
the
are
Black
familiar.
Hearts, yes. And how we chanced upon it, that we were in the right place at the right time.
I could not be more proud of you, my daughter. This is amazing. Thank you. At this point, Telrin stands up, comes over to you. Samara picks you up and stands you up in front of her. Not only have you proven to us that you are a member of our tribe, but you have done the impossible, Samara. You are truly a daughter of the Ivory Heart. This creates a new challenge for us. It is said that the finder of the heart must return it to its keeper. The keeper will restore our city.
Who is the keeper?
The keeper is a vault deep in our ancient ruins. Once returned, the tendrils of energy will be reestablished. The city will be restored. The great beacon of our Luxodon capital to just let all of our brothers and sisters know that it is time to return.
You mean we gotta go back into the werewolf zone?
I bow my head to her, and I say that I would be honored.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of werewolves. I'm just complaining out loud.
Well, Sam, nice knowing you. We gotta get going.
So as all the congratulatory Luxodon and all this kind of catching up and storytelling and people finding out what happened is all playing out, Mara, you and Albin find a secluded space off to the side. He looks pretty tired. He's got the abrasions of someone walking through very unfamiliar territory. And he looks at you. I think as your friends call it, I'm sleepy.
Sorry, you look excited.
This has been one of the most interesting honeymoons I've ever heard of. Most, it's you go to a hotel, spend some time, do a mask, get a foot rub, drink some Mai Tais.
Your new wife doesn't disappear for months on end?
Yes. That
My time.
was probably the most terrifying 4 months of my life, Mara.
Right.
Especially knowing now what I know.
It felt like moments.
Well, the very future of our family is truly at stake. I would caution as to what we do next.
Well, spoke about a lot with the gentleman. That is where we will find our answers, or at least the best chance in finding our answers. Seems that this problem we're having bigger than I realized.
Why is he the answer to our problems? I've merely made a temporary alliance with him. I do not believe he can be as trusted as fast as his dragon could eat us.
Sure, I don't think any of us trust him either. But if we are to defeat this Zarel or this Mylar or whoever it is that we're fighting...
Well, who exactly are we fighting, Mara?
I don't know anymore. So we interrupted this ceremony, right, where they were sacrificing to Mylar.
I'm aware of the god that the Black Hearts worship. I understand what that is, but If you stopped it, job well done. We merely go home, put another group together, come back, wipe out the werewolves, and we've done it before. We could do it again.
I would love if it was that simple, but after speaking with the Wild Mother, who is currently in the statue that we rescued that Mara was looking for, she informs us that the greater plan is to open these 9 portals so the 9 betrayer gods can return. Talking with her, it seems like more than one has already been opened.
He kind of runs his hand through his long blonde hair and goes and sits down underneath the tree and just breathes deeply for a moment. After our ceremony, I spoke with my parents. They've not exactly been forthright with me, Mara. They lied to me about Gwendolyn's death. But they weren't exactly willing to share it with me as well. So I'm not entirely sure what our options are here. It would seem that, yes, we need to deal with the gentleman and find out more information if you feel this is what is required. But
Well, it seems that he is one of the ones that was involved the first time around, actually speak with, who doesn't dead. Maybe we can trust a little.
I don't know. I don't have all my people with me. I don't have a clear understanding of what to do next. But we do know the gentleman's going to meet us in a few days back at the Githyanki ship. I know that much. And of course, there still is the fact that we have to deal with that ship. We cannot keep that ship, Mara.
Oh, I
It is
know.
far too dangerous.
That buy us something else or he will not let us get rid of it.
Well, Crimson Mouse has been in dry dock for 4 months. Perhaps it's time we return his ship to him.
Made it! Know where it is?
It is in Nicodranus.
For
Along,
us to go there.
well, I was not completely forthright with you when we were amongst your friends.
Big surprise.
But now that we are alone, I did tell you that, well, the former boss of Port Zune, him and his wardens sit in jail. Well, all the survivors sit there as well. Captain Alabaster, the Blue Opal is in dry dock, the Crimson Mouse. The handful that survived the encounter with Darktail were immediately sequestered by Shulaman and his people and thrown
Jailbreak.
into prison in Nicodranus. I hesitated to bring it up before because I know Tobias has a passion for that ship. And I know that possibly that Fire has a passion for Captain Alabaster. To just simply walk in to the lion's den, no pun intended, but the Brecht family is barely able to continue its work. We are on the very edge of an open war with the Cerebus Assembly. We are on the very edge of being able to even operate. Something else and much bigger is going on here, and it escapes us. They've even threatened to expel the Cobalt Soul from all of the capitals and all the major cities of the Menagerie Coast. The Dwendalians have closed their borders with the Clovis Conclave. The Zorhashians blame the near loss of their prized flagship on Shulamain and the Zehefe. We've never been closer to war.
Well, maybe we don't go in as the Brecht family then. Go in as the Storm Chasers.
Is that wise? Going in as a storm chaser is
Nothing
truly
is
wise.
Nothing is wise. We rescue our allies. We retrieve our ships.
Well, that seems to be the problem, isn't it, Mara? We don't have many allies. We don't have many. The Cobalt Soul, maybe we could lean out and reach out to them. A handful of these Luxodons that seem to be very passionate about Samar and her mother. My agents that remain. Part of me thinks that Shulamon has won. The Cerebus Assembly is clearly seeking something, and perhaps they found it. Maybe they found it in Shulamon, I don't know. And every time I send agents into Holyhead, they don't come out. I can't afford to send any more in that direction. But the gentleman is insistent that we go there, and I don't know why.
I know why. The portals is in Holyhead.
What portal is this?
Portal to the Nine Hells to release the fire gods. The house that I spoke to you of, that and it got the stuff and got those robot things.
The home of that mad mage.
Yeah.
The gateway to hell.
One of them.
This would potentially explain.
The Earth Mother told us.
This would potentially explain the gentleman's insistence on going to Holyhead. It would seem that he's lost track of his agents there as well, so perhaps something is going on there as well.
Oh, the enemy of my enemy, right? And everyone against Shulamon. Gotta get him out. Everything else later.
This may sound dangerous. I think we conclude our efforts here. Help your friend Samara do whatever it is that she needs doing. But I hate to say this. The only remaining... Well, I mean, we could always try going to the Bright Queen and find out if there's aid there. We could meet with the court of the Dwendals and see if the young King Dwendal has any insight into aiding us. There's also the possibility of maybe, well, the Sinclairs are very influential, powerful. If they haven't already devolved into civil war that we haven't known about, perhaps we solve that issue and gain an ally. Don't think we have enough to be able to make it into Nicodranus and undo whatever's being done. I don't think there's enough of us to do that yet. I have reached out to the Taldori Council to seek guidance from some of our agents there. There seems to be something going on in Whitehall that has to do with another Sinclair that has their current attention. So I've not heard back from them.
Right. Well, we tackle one thing at a time. Let's see what aid we get tomorrow and forward.
Well, can only do what we can only do. Shall we?
Actually, first let's go get you a nap.
Yeah, that would be great. And I gotta admit, Oswald's theatrics are pretty cool. Maybe I'm wrong about him. God, he's dark and broody.
He is. That's some good magic, though.
Well, let's return to the others. Two of you make your way back to where the congregation of all the Luxodons and Shogunna, and they're all admiring the statue. The statue is almost like a running water of verbal incantations and answering questions and trying to soothe all the concern and tension. All of you are back together again. What would you like to do?
Why are you guys all here?
Who are you
Are
asking?
you talking to the Luxodon?
The Luxodon. Why are you guys all here?
We didn't really hear.
We followed Albin here. He led us to this point.
Well, we're going back to We were going back to the village to get you the statue. And then you guys showed up here.
The village.
That's because
Ruins?
Albin led us here. He said that
I
Mara
think
said that this is
Mara
where you
told
were.
him.
Oh. Okay. So now are we going to go back to the village?
Our camp is already disassembled and evacuated.
They're nomadic, Tobias. They don't have a set
Not for
village.
long, they're not nomadic.
That is true. That is true. So
Evacuated
let's go
for
set
what?
this up. Because all
Werewolves,
of the
you idiot.
werewolves.
What?
Werewolves.
There are werewolves everywhere.
The wolves that were chasing us
Uh-huh.
and after them.
Oh. So you had to run. Okay. I get it.
Why'd it take you so long?
So I'm gonna go to Talron. Where are these ruins that we need to find?
That
The
back
ruins we just
where
went
you
through.
found.
The same one? The same exact
Yes.
ones?
Yes, that is the original place of our birth and where we come from.
But
The
is there a
vault is
specific
in the
place
ve-
there? Because it was already there.
Well,
See if you get my ship.
when we hid the statue and evacuated our capital city that was overrun with the Blackhearts, well, when we stored the statue in the vault, it was under the guise of protection. This protection was also meant to project an illusion of the city being in ruin. However, it had been abandoned for so long that eventually it truly did fall in ruin. We've never been able to return because we've lost our memory of where the vault was.
You'd think that'd be important to pass it down like it's an oral tradition.
Statue, tell us where it's at?
All we know
Yeah.
is we think it's in the very center of the city itself.
Is that the statue talking?
No, it's Talron.
No.
Can we ask the statue
That's
if
the
she
statue.
knows?
She probably knows where it's at.
I am sorry, but my awareness of my space has only been since I was taken from the vault and nearly used as a conduit to open up the doorway for Malar. I do not know
Were
where I
you-
came from.
Were you taken out by the tiefling?
Yes, and somebody else that was with him.
You know who that was.
Do you remember who that was?
So they
No, it
know.
never really took form. It never
That's
really
real.
came into existence for me to understand what it was. It's almost as if it was like your friend over there, in between two places.
Zarel.
Zero.
Azrael. Whatever her name is.
Or it was
Zero.
fucking Shulamon.
One or the other.
Uh,
Well, the
great.
city
So
is
now I gotta find a secret
currently-
all overrun with werewolves. Great.
Yes.
Well, currently they're all out looking for us, so they might not be
That-
over by the vault.
And we...
Or that could be their stronghold.
And Kel steps up, and that will be our job. We will be the diversion. We will be the distraction. With Albin's help. And he looks at Albin. We can do that. If it will give them the time they need to sneak in, find the vault, and restore the city, we can do that.
And
Is
we
that
could go
merchant
there
guy
as
with you
scouts.
guys?
No, Pomazzo had left.
Did I get my
I hope
constructs
they
from him?
don't trap him.
Shogana grabs 2 large leather bags and hands them to you. One of them
Thank you.
spills out as the bag is opened, and you watch as this metal gearwork contraption stands up with the 3 highlighted gems in its chest. And it
look at
kind
this
of
little
walks,
baby.
it kind of
Come to me.
kind of walks over to you, looks up at you, and its gears whir and click and clack. You are my possessor, are you not? I was told
Yes.
specifically that you had requirements. And then it
I don't have
begins.
requirements yet, but come with me.
It begins to give you all the invocation understandings and all the recorded details as Pumat's soul begins to boom out. Well, this must mean that you got your little contraption here. So the 3 gems do the different things that we talked about. It also has been enchanted with some basic behavior modifiers, to make it less creepy. I got to be honest, these things always creep me out, so I usually try not to. Well, anyways, this message is lit and it cuts off.
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna put it in. Do I have a bag? Can I just put it in the bag?
I mean,
It came in a bag.
it came in like a
Yeah.
rather medium-sized leather satchel that you could put it back in.
Good night.
And you power it down and it collapses into the satchel.
All right. So what's the plan then? If we're
Do you want to look at the
I
other one?
think-
oh, they're both were there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Shogunna
Let's
handed
go.
you 2. You look at the other one, it's very small. It's almost like a series of gears, and there's like a blade on top of it that spins. And as you pull it out, it immediately lights up, and it hovers almost like a drone in front of you. And it's light pulsing.
Does it talk?
Doesn't talk, but you find a written message. Sorry about this one. I did my best. The best I could do is, well, I imbued it with flight, and I also imbued it with the ability to show you what it sees. Other than that, I couldn't really pull off much more than that. I truly am sorry. You'll have to attune to it, though, in order to be able to communicate with it. Quite stubborn enchantments.
Cool. How long does attunement take?
An hour or 2. Can usually
While we're
accomplish.
planning, can I work on that, or is it
Yeah, that's fine.
okay?
Well,
Cool.
I say we go back to the ship, get it, fly it over there, shooting everything that moves that looks like a werewolf. And we get there and we put it back in the vault and everything's good. And we go kill
And
Shalon.
when Hawat comes out of nowhere and starts attacking the ship, then what?
I shoot her with a cannon. Kazap.
Then I'd be worried that he'd take the ship.
And do nefarious.
Nobody's gonna
things with
take
it.
the ship from me. I'm the guy who pirated it.
Pirated it.
You can't get repirated, although I did get repirated in my old ship.
Yes, we did.
Damn it! But I wasn't on it.
Well,
Okay.
And the guy who did it, he's dead. I ain't gonna say I did it, but he's dead.
All right. So
I think we
Chip's
should
cursed.
go
Try
back
to steal
to the ruins as clouds because we're far less traceable that way.
And
then
faster.
I don't like the
And
way
faster.
that feels.
And then we can probably search some of the ruins if we have some time left while we're clouds, and we can search them as clouds, and we can do the telepathic thing so that we can talk to each other.
Does telepathy work when we're in cloud form?
Yeah. If we
I
cast
believe
it
so.
before.
If you cast it
We're
beforehand,
clouds.
yeah.
Okay. I think
But
that
I'm
sounds like
trying
a
to
great
see-
choice.
How long
Because
does the
whatever-
telepathy last?
Telepathy, I think it's an hour.
Telepathic bond.
12 hours?
Look,
No, it only
we're-
lasts an hour.
The Storm Chasers. We are pirate.
Yes, we are
Pirates
pirates.
have what? They live on a what? They travel in a what?
Well,
Okay,
typically on the water.
Can I get a ship?
The ship is
Yeah,
also
exactly. A
very
ship.
conspicuous,
We are the storm chasers, so we're going
Yeah.
to become clouds and be a storm of our
like a
own.
storm. Like a storm.
Where's your sense of adventure?
I'm
We're
living
asking to
it
turn
right
you
now.
into a cloud. How is that not an adventure? I second Fire's idea, especially because if we put, and I apologize in advance to the staff statue, but if we put the statue in the bag and carry it with us, it'll be part of our cloudness.
Yes.
Mara, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm
Osborne,
down, Claus. I
Oswald,
liked that
thoughts?
last time. That was fun.
Yeah, first mate, what do you say? Ship
Do it.
or
Power
fart?
it up.
Ship or fart.
Well, we're far less trackable in cloud form.
Yeah, that ship is dangerous.
What? Yeah, to
It's
anybody
illegal.
around it, but not us.
I'm more worried about it just being a little ostentatious.
I haven't even used those cannons yet.
Yeah, you have.
Well, kind of, a little bit. But wait till we use them.
But only a little.
Only a little bit of death, not a lot.
What have
Yeah.
we shot with those cannons? A dragon?
No, you were
That
just
dragon that attacked
shooting
us.
nothing. You were shooting nothing. And just shooting it off into the air
Well, I
for
think
no good reason.
we need to go share our plan with Kel and figure out what Kel is
All
going
right.
to be doing.
Yeah, let them decide.
Eventually, you
Okay.
go over to where Kel and Albin are kind of conversing.
Yeah.
Albin nods and takes two of the Luxodon hunters with them and begins to disappear into the forest line. Kel looks over to all of you coming over in his direction. So, what's your plan?
So we are
So-
going to take the statue and become cloud forms. Through my magic and my study that I've done, I'm able to turn us into a natural element of the clouds and find our way into the city. This will give us time to hunt around for the exact spot and not be noticed if there are
We-
any remaining black hearts there.
We believe that the majority of them may be in and about our former camp location. Albin's going to take two of my prize hunters, track down the main searching party that's looking for us, and then we will lead them in circles as best we can. Our intent is to spend a day distracting them, and then we will circle back and meet you at the ruins. With the city's heart revealed, the magic may have already been felt by others. Others could be already coming here in expectation of the city being restored. There are many priests and priestesses of the Wild Mother that have been waiting for this sign and will begin returning back to our place of birth. So,
Yeah.
Excellent.
One question.
yes, Tobias.
Yeah. So, usually things you put in a vault, now we've run into this before. That's why I'm saying this. Is guarded by something. So, what are we going to run into when we find the vault?
The memory of the vault has been lost, Tobias. If we knew where it was, we'd certainly know what was in it or protecting it. But your caution is respectfully probably accurate. There is probably,
Man.
more than likely, it's a series of arcane enchantments designed to keep people out. But here's the thing. Somebody has already broken those and clearly stolen the statue from the vault. The question is, did they leave something behind?
Probably.
Because the possessor of this statue clearly knew its power. And
Yeah.
with the restorative
Likely
power
knows we have
of the statue means that if they were to lose the statue at any given point, they would have left something back in the vault to prevent it being used to restore the capital city.
Isn't that special?
Okay,
I knew
so
it.
cloud form, make it to the city, find the vault, figure out what's guarding it, kill whatever that is, and put her back in place.
Okay, you guys
No
go
sweat.
in cloud form. I go back and get the ship. I back you up with the ship. Zap anything that gets in our way.
Honestly, that's
Oswald can
actually not
teach
a
me
bad
how to
idea.
do the. Oswald can teach me how to do the thing. Tell me about it. I go back, do it. Bring the ship over here.
That doesn't sound like the worst idea. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, if we're coming up across something that we don't know that's powerful,
Thank you, Osborne.
it might
I appreciate you agreeing
might
with me.
honestly help. I know
So do
Fire
we
and
want-
Mara are looking at
do-
us.
do we want to have Oswald and Tobias go and get the ship and then meet us at the ruins in the ship? Because the ship has the capability of being invisible. But can they turn from clouds themselves? Can they dispel
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
And that doesn't dispel all of us. Just
I
them.
don't believe so, no.
Okay.
What is it called? Windwalk? Let me
believe
double
so.
check.
Yeah.
Is that something
So the
Oswald
only
won't
actions
do?
a creature can take in this form are the dash action or to revert to its normal form. So reverting takes 1 minute. So when we get to the town, to the ruins, when we find it, we need to find a safe place to hide because it's going to take us a full minute to revert. And same thing with y'all at the ship.
I'll just go with you guys. I think it's just gonna. Anytime you break us up, something bad happens.
I mean, bad stuff happens when we're together too. So
Yeah, but at
Split
least
the
we're all there
party.
together.
D 101.
I hate
Bias,
being
I was
wind.
actually backing you up, and you're gonna now say no.
Well, I don't.
I still think we should bring the ship. I would like
Okay.
that firepower.
What about Oswald? He's not saying anything.
Oswald, thoughts?
Either one doesn't really matter.
I mean, what do you think? Just we all go together, or we go back to the ship and then meet him?
Do you, Captain?
Or we can just all go on the ship together.
I just don't like that plan as much because the ship is ostentatious. Tobias is, forgive me, Captain, very dramatic. We need to be
Thank you.
secretive coming. We need to be secretive coming into the city to
It
find
turns
where it needs to be.
invisible. It turns invisible.
It does do that.
We
Yes,
could
it does turn invisible.
we could zoom over there in an invisible ship
How far away is
Oswald,
the ship from the ruins?
with massive firepower.
Oswald, give me an intelligence check.
Oswald, are you a smart cookie?
He is a smart cookie.
Do you get a star
He's
for your
way
work
smarter
today?
than a cookie.
Intelligence, let's see. 16.
16. The only thing, ooh, that's a low roll for you, buddy.
Would you roll one?
It's intelligence.
Are
It's
you
only-
higher on
it's
the
only next
wisdom?
to 5.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like if you just like, investigation or history or arcana, that's like a plus 10.
True. But it
Fucking
wasn't a very high DC. The only challenge you have, because you're still learning how to pilot the Githyanki ship, is that if you do use the invisibility or the cloaking feature of the ship, that'll consume a great deal of the cell power that you have. But in order for you to successfully steer it, you'll have to turn the map feature back on.
Ugh.
Because it's the
And
only
map
way you're going to
feature
be
is
able
what
to
allows the
see while
Githyanki
you're
to find
cloaked.
you. Or, like I said, if we split the party, you wouldn't have to be invisible because
Wait a minute.
by
do you
then we
say-
would have
do you
found
t-
where.
Do you tell us that?
Yeah, I'll definitely tell them that.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Let's just be farts. I'm good.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that we could have half of us being farts and the other half on the ship, not invisible. No, we're shaking our heads.
Don't
All
split
right.
the party. You don't
All right, all right.
Especially
up
if the
and up.
Yankee can find them, and then there's just the two of them on the ship.
And then
Be
we're fighting
clearly
where
cursed
people and
ruins.
Githyanki.
Yeah.
You guys watch as Albin and the 200s quickly run out of the edge of the forest. They begin to point in different directions. Kill nods, and the entire tribe begins to sprint out in different directions. Albin comes over to
gotta
you,
go.
Mara, and says, "Good luck. If you need me, use a stone, but be cautious." And he quickly, after giving you a quick kiss, quickly runs off alongside Kel, Talran. Shogunna comes over to you, hugs you, Samara. "Good luck, dear. This has got to work. It's got to." And she kind of,
Can we retcon something and say that I cast telepathic bond because it is a
10 minutes.
ritual casting.
Yeah, that's fine. And as she says goodbye, she puts a small glass vial in your hand and says, just in case you need this. And she sprints off with the other Luxodon. They are making a great deal of noise as they all kind of scatter to the southeast section of the forest.
I'm gonna pick up the statue and say, okay, I'm gonna put you in the bag, but it's only temporary.
Really don't look.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Earth Mother.
What was this, the
Earth
glass
Mother.
vial?
What's the glass vial?
You look at it, and the arcane glyph on it is easy for you to read. It is a potion of superior healing.
Tight.
Mad Dog 2020.
Dog 2020.
Turn us into
Okay.
farts. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Off in the distance, you guys
Certify
hear.
all of you.
As the bane of wolves and werewolves are now beginning to sound out.
Let's get out of here. I hate those things.
All right. Windwalk, go.
6 clouds
Twin
immediately
Towers,
begin to rise up above the canopy of the forest, and within about 5 minutes or so, you watch as at least 2 to 3 dozen werewolves sprint into the direction that you were just in. They stand around sniffing the air and begin to sprint off to the southeast. Some go to the northeast, some go to the southwest. You fly up further and further. You fly over the abandoned camp down below. You quickly make your way. What would normally take half a day on foot takes mere minutes to traverse this space. All of you are now over the city. And as you hover over this ruinous city, you can see off to the right the massive 3-story tower where the ceremony was attempting to take place. Everybody go ahead and give me perception checks, please.
Ooh, I rolled a 19.
That is not great.
Oh,
I
4.
rolled a. Normally I'm good at this, but I rolled a 16.
5.
I got a Go ahead.
28.
I got a 29.
Jesus.
22.
Miss anything.
Well, I mean, as a group, you guys did pretty well, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Got my
I'll be your
knight
tour
over
guide.
here.
As you hover over the main city, you can see where the tower is, see where the great water spill that would normally feed the city. Ruins lay all about, housing of all manner, smaller towers, a peripheral of different buildings. Being described somewhere in the center, there is another tower in the very center. Almost takes on like a conical watch formation. As your disembodied selves float in and out of the space for the next 15 or 20 minutes, you begin to believe that possibly the only logical space for a vault would be in the center of the city. And perhaps this 10-story ruined remain that you're staring at, maybe about a quarter mile into the center of the ruined city, is possibly the location that you seek.
All right. Is there a secluded part of it? Do we see anything around?
There are heaps of rubble, ruin all about. There's individual trees and root systems that are kind of growing up and in. You do not see anything moving. You do not see anything untoward. You don't really see anything other than ruin.
All right. I'm looking for a big enough outcropping that would hide all of us.
Give me a survival check.
I think I'm good at those. Let me see. Yeah, I'm good at those. Famous last words. Yep, definitely. 10.
10. Give me nature with disadvantage.
Ugh. Nature.
She's not one of
Gosh,
those.
hold on.
She's not one of those kinds, unfortunately.
I rolled a 8.
8. I mean, everything looks usable, but nothing looks perfect.
I'm gonna find the best available one and start heading down.
Okay. You guys all begin one by one by one, and you're now cloistered in a semi-collapsed residential building. It's overgrown with roots and vines and fallen logs and centuries
I'd like to cast
of
pass
loss.
without a trace on us.
Okay.
And have we turned back?
Have you? It's up to you guys. You're all hovering in this space.
I'm turning back.
You watch as Samara comes back to her physical form.
I see her. I'll turn back.
Okay.
I will turn back too.
I'm looking for pass without a trace. Hold on.
Okay.
I will unfight myself.
You are officially unfarted. Come into existence. Oswald, Tobias.
What the hell is my pass without a trace?
It's kind of grown on me now. I kind of like it.
No.
I'll learn it today.
I can move around really fast like this.
You just can't
Farting
do anything
yourself?
while you're in it. All right.
Well,
Pass
can
without
I
a
fly
trace is
over
now
by
on
the? I'll fly over by the tower. Maybe there's magic over there or something that'll. I don't know.
So
You
you're
watch
not
as Tobias's
unfarted?
cloud drifts off towards the tower.
Once again, I face
I'm
palm.
gonna reconnoiter.
Okay.
You have,
Oswald, are
you
Yeah,
have
you
he
telepathic
wanders
link
off.
on, right?
are you
Yeah,
staying?
that's
Oswald, are
an
you
hour
staying in
ago.
Windwalk?
Where are you going?
Yeah, I'll go out too.
You go with Tobias?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys watch as the two remaining clouds drift away from you and go towards the tower, not more than maybe 300-400 feet from where the four of you are kind of secluded in this like ruinous area.
Keep in mind, for this hour, you all can turn back into clouds whenever you want. It just takes a minute.
Guys, what happened to
Is
staying
it, wait,
together?
for 8 hours? For
We're
8
just
hours.
No, it's
reconnoitering.
1 hour.
Because
said
the
I've been
duration
reconnoitering
for
for-
Oh! Holy
wind,
moly, it is 8
Windwalk
hours.
is 8 hours.
For the next
8
8
hours.
hours.
So it
Whenever
took
you
you
feel like
guys
turning back
Back
into a
and
cloud,
forth?
feel free.
hold on. So it took you guys at least an hour to get to this point. So you have 7 hours of the spell
7
left.
more hours.
Correct. You
7
all
more
have
hours.
returned back to your form, and you're casting Pass Without a Trace, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
Is Pass Without a Trace concentration?
that is a very good question. And the answer to that is maybe. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh,
So
then we
you're
get it.
already concentrating on windwalking.
No, Windwalk is
No, Windwalk
automatic,
doesn't
I thought.
take computer concentration.
Yeah.
Telepathic link
Windwalk's
is
not con-
concentration, isn't it?
I thought it was. Hold on, I'm looking.
Telepathic link is it's not.
No, because if I cast
No.
it as a ritual.
Oh, that's right.
If
It's
I
not.
cast
So
that
you're
as a
good.
ritual.
Yep. So you
Yeah,
now
why-
can.
Windwalk is 1 time, and then the other one
Nope,
would be.
you're right. You're
Pass
right.
Without a Trace.
Neither one are concentration.
So you cast
I know
Pass Without.
myself.
Yep. Cast Pass Without a Trace. So the four of you remaining in the ruin, go ahead and give me stealth checks as you're
Stealthy stealth.
hiding, waiting for Tobias and Oswald to do whatever they're doing.
Oh,
Come
20.
on, big money. Oh, amazing. And what is Pass Without a Trace plus 10?
Yes.
I say I know my spells, and then this happens.
Mm-hmm.
28.
28 for Samara. Mara, what'd you get?
30-20.
30, 20. Ooh, you rolled terrible. You
I
rolled
got
10.
a natty 20.
So that's
You
30.
have like 37.
30 billion. 30
Stealth
billion.
is plus 8, so I got 38.
Jesus, you can't even
Ooh,
hear
my.
her. Asborn, what'd you get?
Balls.
She's doing that cat thing where she's like. It takes her
I got
10
a-
minutes to put her
No,
foot
no,
down.
no.
I got a
No,
6.
no. I'm like looking and
got
I'm
a-
going, I am moving so slow. You
6.
cannot
6
see me.
with,
Yeah.
and that's with your stealth bonus.
Yes.
So you got a 16. Because she cast Pass Without a Trace, which is plus 10. So you got a 16.
Oh, plus 10. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the four of you kind of melt into the immediate environment around you. Some of you doing it better than others. For a moment, you guys think fire disappears, until she opens her eyes and you can see her little purple pupils kind
Go,
of stare back at you.
Ah.
Her fur kind of blends in with the natural environment. Tobias and
Predator.
Oswald, you make your way
Yawn, Lucy
over. You make your way over to the 10-story tower that's about 300 feet away from the ruined spot everybody else is currently hiding. Parts of the tower are collapsed in on itself. The main frame of it still seems somewhat standing. You can see that each floor of the 10 stories is partially exposed. There doesn't seem to be much on each of these floors, just rubble, ruin, leftover vines, and overgrowth of centuries of abandonment. The main base of the tower, however, has a collapsed section, and your passive for both of you would be high enough. A great deal of disturbed ground nearby. It looks like somebody has been digging. You could see abandoned shovels and buckets. You could see great mounds of earth and soil, and then a kind of very darkened 5-foot by 5-foot hole that is dug down into the main base of the tower.
That's what I thought. Vaults are always on the bottom of things.
So with telepathic bond, I'm gonna be like, y'all see anything?
No.
Hello?
No,
Come
no.
in, Tobias.
Hold on a second.
You know
Okay.
that
Sorry, I
music's
was
driving
reading
me
something really quick.
nuts. Okay. Yeah, I described what we seen. So
Okay.
I don't have to re-describe it.
Okay. The two of you are hovering in your gaseous form nearby. Do you want to do anything?
Well, I'm gonna go over to where the hole's at.
Float down. Oswald, what are you doing?
Go with them.
Okay. Two of you float down. In this form, you know, it's you don't see anybody immediately. You float down near the hole. It looks like it descends down into the darkness, but you can see little glimmers of light down below, almost like maybe something has been lit down below.
Oh, this party's about
I
to get
described
lit.
that for you guys. Somebody's getting lit. Yeah, so I described what I seen,
Okay.
and then tell them, "Come on over here. Let's go. We found it. Be sneaky, especially
We're
you,
always sneaky.
Asborn, with your clunky armor. Maybe you should go
I
last.
try my hardest.
Maybe you should
I
go
can't
last. So you
help
don't
it.
ruin it for everyone else."
Pass into the gas, become the fart.
So the four of you hear
You can.
Tobias's description.
It's true.
Oswald and Tobias are over at the base of the tower. What are the four of you going to do?
He doesn't see anybody?
He tells you he doesn't see anybody.
There's
Okay.
lights down there.
It looks like the tunnel, whatever tunnel's been dug here, may have been, you know, there's lights that may have been left on or something down there.
Can
Definitely.
I hold on? Let me see if I can do this because I don't know if it's. This is instantaneous. Before I move, can I commune with nature? And I'd like to commune with the stones and see if there's anything, any creatures moving in there, or anything scary,
As you
anything
reach,
guarding that area.
Yeah, as you reach down, you actually, before the four of you begin making your way in the direction, you quickly reach down and pick up some soil in your hand, and you press your hand onto one of the nearby trees. As you focus in on the energy, it immediately stops at the tower, and the only feeling you have is death, hate, malice, a deep, sickening feeling of absence of anything as soon as your commune with nature hits that point where the tower is. There is something there that even the idea of life is absorbed. A chill runs up your spine. The hairs on your arms stick up. There is something down there.
Okay, there's something real dark and evil down there, guys, and I'm telling this over telepathic bond to everybody. Something real dark and evil down there. Not sure what, but hope y'all are ready.
What kind of evil on a scale of like 1 to like scourge level, you know?
It's a
I
billion.
mean, was Scourge
Like-
evil?
It was
Scourge more
pretty
Not,
evil.
it is not the time for that.
I just want to know, like, is this
I
a
do not
one?
want you to debate about the evils of
Yeah.
Scourge at this exact
I told you,
moment.
I
Thank
told
very
you we
much.
were gonna meet something down here. So let's just go meet it and get it over with.
Okay, well,
You can go first,
Where
then,
did-
Tobias.
Okay.
what if? Okay, wait, Tobias, wait. What
What?
if we send? What if we send my little robot in first? Because I can see through it.
Didn't you just get
I
that
mean,
thing?
We could send
Yeah.
Ember in. She's easier to recall.
Marcel,
You know-
did
you
you
know-
just get that thing?
I mean,
How about
you've
we
been wanting
send-
this thing for a long, long time, and I just think
Yeah.
it's just gonna go in there and get destroyed.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
but if Ember
And
or Pepper goes in there, they'll get destroyed too.
But they're easier to bring back.
Yeah, they're easy to bring back.
Okay. Okay.
You're gonna have
okay.
to find
okay.
that
So
idiot
then-
that made that for you and have him do it again.
okay, so do you want to Rochambeau to see if it's Pepper or Ember, or do you just want to
Rochambeau.
volunteer Ember?
I seriously want Samara to kick Tobias in the nuts. Absolutely. Roll for
Not what-
roll for nut kickery.
They're
I
nice.
don't
They're
think-
nice and
That's not-
furry.
I didn't say that I was kicking. I didn't say I was
There's
kicking.
nothing.
Rochambeau, rock,
Flush.
paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, that kind of Rochambeau. I was thinking South Park.
Parchment shears.
I was thinking South
yeah,
Park.
Boulder
Roche-
Parchment Shears.
Yeah, Boulder
Boulder
Parchment
parchment
Shears.
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 Yeah.
So who's going
What did
in,
I do
Ember or
to you? I
Pepper?
didn't do anything to anybody.
Doesn't make a difference to me.
Why do I always get the brunt of everyone's anger?
I didn't
What's,
say there was any
what's
anger.
Pepper's-
I said Rochambeau.
What's Pepper's
that?
stealth?
I should be the lovable
what?
little guy that you guys all hug.
The lovable scamp.
You are
That's
the lovable
right.
scamp. Yes.
What is stealth? Is Dex?
Stealth is dex.
Plus
I have
3.
I have +2.
Okay.
So Pepper is more stealthy than Ember is.
Okay. So
Oh,
Pepper,
no,
my friend.
no, wait. I have a +4 for stealth. She
And
actually has a
there
skill,
you go.
stealth. Hey,
I don't have.
Okay.
I don't
That
have
means
that,
she's
so.
proficient in it.
that means she's proficient in it, and mine
I'm
is
better at
proficient in
either
it.
of your little machines.
Stealthy.
Okay, we'll go with Ember. Okay.
Okay. So Tobias and Oswald,
She
you're
also has.
so I know what everybody's doing. Tobias and Oswald are still in Windwalker form near the tunnel entrance.
Yeah.
Samara has communed with nature and described the feeling and sense of something being there. You guys are about
How far away are we?
You guys are about 300 feet away from the area that Tobias has described. Now, with his description, he can guide you over, and obviously, the closer you are, then the better your chance of having direct control of Ember and seeing directly through her eyes.
If I fly back over to him, can I use my stealth, knowledge of stealth to help them get stealthily over to where the hole is?
You would definitely give them a bit of an advantage, for sure.
Well, and we still
Okay.
have pass without a trace too,
Yeah, but then you got
but
me.
even more.
Yeah, and you can kick my
Okay.
balls. Okay. All right.
All right.
My air ball.
Always the goal.
Air balls. All right, I'll air up. I'll blow back over there.
Okay, we walking?
And I'm looking on my way back if there's anything untoward, like lurking.
Mara, if you said
around or
something, I
anything.
did not hear you.
I'm just
Stop the
looking.
music.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything in the path of you guys to see if
Okay.
I need to watch out for
So
something.
I already have your current base stealth.
Mhm.
Because you're being guided by Tobias, Asborn, go ahead and re-roll your stealth.
Okay, let's see if I get something
Don't be
higher than
suspicious.
3.
Don't be suspicious.
So I got a 5.
Clink, clink, clonk, clonks. He falls over a
Plus
brick
3, so that's an 8.
with full plate armor
Plus
on.
10.
Plus
Plus
10.
10, so we have 18. We
Okay.
passed basic math, boys.
Tobias, as you're guiding
girls,
them,
and
You're in college, right?
I'm in college, right? I'm taking Calc 3, I think.
Tobias, as you're guiding them, you look over to see maybe about 20 feet, 30 feet off to their right. What looks to be a stone wall suddenly moves as you watch a massive stone golem step out of the shadows and kind of look about in their direction and then looks off to the right opposite of their direction and begins to move away. I rolled a 17 for perception. The massive stone golem kind of shifts, and as it goes off to another section of the area, it kind of moves and turns back into the almost, it looks like it's its own ruined building, like it's a rock wall.
So maybe we should turn into clouds, or at least Asborn. Maybe you should turn into a cloud.
I should probably definitely turn into a cloud.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna like fall over at some point.
You watch
You
as
sound like-
Asborn a minute later returns back to Windwalker and hovers up by Tobias. The rest of you makes it over near the tunnel entrance at this point. You can see the arcane shimmer of the 3 Windwalkers above you. The 3 of you are down below staring at this tunnel entrance. Since the 3 of you are in your physical forms and Ember is hovering nearby, the 3 of you feel a sense of emptiness that is almost discordant. It's to even look at the tunnel is difficult. The vacuum of light and the vacuum of hope just dissipates around you. All of you feel that chill that Samara described kind of run up your spine.
Is it an effect that I might recognize?
Once I get him back over there, I'm going to go ahead and turn back into my physical form.
Tobias, you softly land by where the other 3 are kind of hiding behind a wall. You begin to feel the same experience.
Oh, man. Why is everything got to feel like that we do?
Ding.
Can't we run into something that's like...
For you, Fire, this is unlike anything you've ever felt before. Even for you, Mara, that strange encounter with that weapon that you had at one point, this feels darker. This feels...
It was even worse.
Yeah,
Oh God.
this feels like the malignancy of hope. If hope had an opposite, this is what it feels like.
Guys,
Well,
this is big
I think
bad.
I think the Earth Mother can fix this. We just need to put her back on her pedestal. We got to get there fast.
Should we pull her out, or should we
Yeah.
leave her in the bag?
I'm going to leave that one alone.
I would say let's leave her in the bag. She's not gonna, so she doesn't draw attention
Okay.
until we get to where we need to place her. You see anything that looks like a good placement spot?
She might be able to
Oh, we're
hold
still
it.
I look
looking down the hole.
around.
I mean, you guys are still outside the
We're
tunnel.
still outside.
haven't done
We haven't
anything
gone in
yet.
the tunnel.
We gotta,
Okay,
we
I
you
want
gotta
to
guys
go
go
in there.
Wait, you're going to send your little dragon in there, right?
I'm sending Ember.
Yeah.
I'm pulling Ember out, and like, okay, let's see what's in there.
Light situation.
Sorry if
And
you
I-
die.
Hold on to Samara and look through her eyes.
The first 10 feet is more tunnel, 20, 30 feet. At 40 feet, it kind of bottoms out, and there's an exposed stone floor with a massive iron door propped up with a series of wooden logs and spare stones, which leads to another series of stairs going down. Ember continues on down this next set of stairs about 10 feet, and she ends up into a very small circular chamber. What's in this small circular chamber? There are now the pinpoints of light in this chamber, maybe 30 feet in diameter. There's little glimmers of enchanted lights still floating here. The very end of the circular formation is an open steel door that's been peeled away and laid down on the ground. For a moment, you almost lose your psychic connection with Ember as a cold, kind of dark energy just pulses over you. And have Ember make a perception check as she's hovering in this circular chamber.
$15.
She moves a little closer. She senses something is on the other side of the door, and she flies to the edge.
She does have blind sight.
Yeah, she flies to the very edge of the door outside of the lighted formation, which is at the edge of your 100 feet. And she looks down, and there is a circular series of grooves that have been purposely dug into the subterranean ground. They look like stairs, but there's something strange and ancient about them. And it descends far beyond what she can see. And as she looks on either side of this particular area that she's staring at, it's almost as if it's layers of ruin and layers of collapse that she is looking through. This may be a very old section of the city.
Okay.
But she's at the limit now. If she goes any further,
I can't see.
She can't communicate directly to you, but she can report back.
Okay. I'm gonna relay what I saw through her and call her back.
Okay. Flying back up, out of the tunnel and over onto your shoulder.
All right, well.
Sounds like the way is clear. I think we should just go.
This is the way.
I'm
This
going
is the
to. I'm going to go first.
As you
Far
say
as
that,
like-
this shiny chrome man in full armor comes out.
You watch as Samara's
holding a green
little
baby.
gadget robot comes out wearing a Mandalorian hood.
I mean, we already have a woman wearing a shiny helmet. Just saying.
I haven't
Um,
polished it in a while.
And you just hear the robot look at you guys and go, "What are you doing here?"
Okay.
So who's going? What's the marching order? Who's going first?
Okay, I will go first.
Okay.
I will be checking for glyphs and traps and
Go
things
right
that can
behind
eat
him.
me.
Okay, Mara, you're right behind Tobias. Who's behind Mara?
I'll go next.
Stealthily.
Samara. Who's behind Samara?
I'll go.
Fire. And then Oswald and Osborne bringing up the rear.
I'll bring up the yeah.
Okay. Oswald is in front of Osborne. As you begin to descend down into the tunnel, there is...
I want to cast True Seeing.
Okay.
What does that do?
The spell gives the willing creature you touch the ability to see things as they actually are. For the duration, the creature has true sight, notices secret doors hidden by magic, and can see into the ethereal plane, all out to a range of 120 feet.
As you guys
I mean,
begin to
that's Tobias,
descend
right?
down into the tunnel, for you, Fire, there are malformed faces in the wall of the tunnel. As you stare to your right and left, you watch it. A mouth opens and a tongue lolls out, and the vapor kind of descends back into the wall. There's dozens of these faces. Hollow eyes, disjointed jaws, tongues, serpentine-like looks on their faces. Eyes that just hollowed cores that look at you as you pass by, and the vapor descends back into the wall. You guys make your way down the tunnel to the stairs, to the circular chamber where all the lights are lit up around the diameter of the chamber. Once down here, for you, Fire, the walls are alive with all manner of hellscape. You can see citadels. You can see burning piles of humanoid forms, miles tall. You can see great beasts shifting about. You even watch as faces lunge out towards you and then get pulled back in. Everybody in this chamber, I need you to make con saves, please.
Why did you murder us, fire?
Meanwhile, the rest of us are just like, doot, 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 doot.
Constitution? Why?
Ooh, that's good. 27.
I got a dirty 20.
13.
I got a filthy 20.
Feel good.
21
Did I
or
get anything that had con helps?
21 or higher
Fail.
passes. 20 or less fails. Those that
I
fail, you are now terrorized.
Oh, I knew I should have done protection from evil.
Wait, so we all roll?
Guys,
What?
I'm
Wait,
confused.
hold
How
on.
far past frightened is that?
If
Yeah,
you're
what's
immune to
terror?
being frightened, does that count?
No, this is something totally different.
Wait, so everyone has to make the save?
So,
Mhm.
everybody who failed the save,
Is it?
yeah, everybody had to make the con save, Asborn. That's why I said everybody make a
Okay.
con save.
I misheard, and I was very confused for
We
a
don't-
quick 7.
I don't have
I
have
terrified.
terrified on my D&D
I
Beyond.
just have. I'm just gonna use frightened.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it the same as petrified? Because I'm immune to being frightened, and that's why I'm like
No,
trying to figure out what to put.
this is not familiar to any of you, this feeling. Those of you that are terrorized can only move at half movement.
Oof.
All of your attacks are at disadvantage. And you are currently deafened. Sorry, this allergies.
So half movement, deafened, and disadvantage on attacks.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Those of you who passed are not affected by this.
Son of a gunnosaur.
noticed
All right.
That my friends are acting.
Your passive would be high enough to realize the people that they're like quaking with fear. They're you who all failed? Tobias?
I did.
Yep.
Tobias,
also.
Samara, Fire, and Asborn. Oswald, what'd you get?
18.
So Oswald failed
Same.
as well. So Mara, are you the only
That's
one that
Mara.
passed?
Mara's the only one that passed.
Mara, you can't help but notice that your 5 friends around you are staring at that open door with the peeled steel on the ground that would lead to the next series of spiral footpaths leading down. They look hesitant. They are white with fear to the point where they're quaking and shaking in their skin. They look rough.
Guys? Hey?
Can't move. Scared.
Can't hear you.
What? I can't hear anything you're saying.
I don't think you'd want to scream like that if you were terrified.
I'm
Just
trying to
saying.
do charades.
Do I know that Fire cast treatment on herself?
I don't know. I don't
Persuade?
think she told anybody.
Can I try to dispel it?
At what level?
I'm just gonna throw out a 4th level dispel magic.
Give me a d20.
Okay. 19. Nice.
I believe, is that with your spell? What's the modifier for dispel?
Spells level.
Yeah, it's you do the modifier plus
It's at the top of your
you
spell
roll
thing.
plus your modifier.
You roll plus your
Spell
modifier.
cast modifier?
On
Spellcast
the-
modifier. Yeah.
On D&D Beyond, it says the DC equals to 10 plus the spell's level on a
Correct.
successful check. The
Okay,
spell
but you
ends.
Yeah,
need
but you
to
don't know
see-
what the
you need
spell's
the-
level. You
Okay.
need what you rolled plus your spell's modifier, which is
Okay. Plus
At the
3,
top of
so
your spell list.
19 plus 3 is 22.
All of you feel the sense of terror evaporate. You get your hearing back. You feel your
Like shaking
cold.
Fire on her shoulder.
Yeah.
That was not fun.
Okay. Fire.
There's a lot of things flying out of the walls at me. It's
What?
disturbing.
Don't look. Don't look.
I go.
I'm
I
trying.
go get on Fire's shoulder.
Things were real,
And I like-
real scary for a second there, Mara.
I'm like hiding in her fur.
I'm
It
cuddling
was
Tobias.
It was really weird. There was like a whole feeling. It was not comfortable.
It was like being in that. Was it like being in that house? It was like being in that house.
No, this is worse than being in that house.
Should we just go?
Yeah,
need to get this over with.
I'm
Let's
gonna
go
send
fast.
Ember. I'm gonna send Ember down. So, sending Ember.
Yeah, so you have another 100 feet because you're closer to the door. You send Ember through, and she begins to cycle down and down about 50 feet, and then she lands into another section of ruin that's been exposed and peeled apart. To the right and left of her are Luxodon effigies and scenes with Luxodons, wall sconces and paintings, and you then begin to see Wild Mother kind of references as well. At the very edge, another 50 feet into this opening, there's a series. You watch as the chamber heightens up to about 15 feet and then opens up like it's been expanded. There are two very large stone doors that are pulled open, and inside there's a shifting and moving light source, roughly maybe 10, 15 feet in height. You can hear a crack of a whip. Spark. You can hear great wings scraping on walls.
Oh shit.
That's... Can she peek in the doors?
Hey, Tobias.
Like as
You gonna be okay there,
stealthily
Tobias?
as stealthily as
Where'd Tobias
possible.
go? No, I'm just kidding.
She just kind of wants to peek around the door.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check, because this is getting dangerously close.
19. Please roll poorly.
As Ember flits over to the edge of the stone, which is the very edge of your control of her,
Mhm.
the full height of this winged creature comes into view for just a moment and walks right by the door opening, carrying a great gilded weapon of some sort. It's hyper-extended blade, blue and white in one hand, a great whip in the other hand, fire wreathed and coalescing around it. You can see a great purplish blue mane of hair with great horns coming out and wings, and the entire creature is flame, and you can even smell the brimstone through Ember's connection with you. In the very middle of this chamber that it seems to be walking around, great column of effigies of great Luxodon leaders strewn all about. You can see great stone altars in between these effigies. The room is quite massive to the very edge of her vision. In the very center, a dais, a round dais with stairs coalescing around it. In the very middle, see you, Carney. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. In the very middle of the space, you can see a pedestal.
No, eat the food.
And then on that
just ate on
pedestal is
No, it's
what
right.
looks like a place
Hell.
that a statue could be put.
Okay.
And this
Guys, I think I found where we're supposed to put
20-foot creature comes back into her view again. It stops just plain enough for you to see. And it just... The whip cracks. Great explosion of energy emanates out from it. Its flames get bigger and higher around its back. Its great horns out, its visage looking, and then it goes back to circling the chamber.
What? Yeah. Oh.
Okay,
okay.
foot race.
I'm gonna call her back.
Did you recognize what it was?
What did it look like to me?
Give me a religion check.
Looks like it sounds like a fire giant or something like that, or a fiend.
It's a Balrog. No.
It's totally a Balrog.
It's a
Oh my god,
demon.
guys, it's totally a Balrog. I got a 19.
19.
19. 14 plus 5.
You're aware of something called a Baelor.
Baelor.
This one looked exactly like it, except it seemed larger, more enhanced. It could be a greater version of a Baelor, as far as you can tell.
Jeez.
They are known to be not only dangerous in life, but dangerous in death. For when they are destroyed on the material plane, they explode into a massive fiery cataclysm within their death. They are
So we
difficult.
can't even kill it.
They are difficult at best to deal with. They attack furiously. They also have natural teleport ability. And you remember reading that they could only be struck with magic weapons. And they have a high degree of magic resistance.
Oh, lovely.
And you remember reading about these because they are often used as guardians or sentinels by very powerful creatures.
But it's not from the material plane, correct?
Correct.
Mm-mm.
Oswald,
it's a
give
fiend.
me an arcana check, please.
Is that, you know exactly what I'm thinking? Because you're thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, but I want
It's
to
good for me.
give you an option.
24.
Okay. Fire, are you explaining this to everybody?
Oh yeah.
Oswald, there's one.
As Ember's coming back.
Yeah, Oswald, there's one piece of information you glean from all this. If this is a greater Baelor, it may have an anchor point here. And you get the feeling the anchor point may be Hawat.
Oh great.
That's the right?
I mean, what?
The tiefling.
A
The
lot.
tiefling.
The tiefling that
Oh.
attacked me.
You know, Hawat is his name.
Alright.
Well,
Okay,
if
this
he's
is
a
easy. I got the
hate,
plan.
I hate her a lot.
If he's a fiend, I get extra attack stuff, and I can stop him from teleporting.
He's a huge fiend.
He's
Near
a fiend.
gargantuan state.
Fiend.
Almost
He's a fiend.
gargantuan. Because he is a greater
He's a
version of his other self.
It'd be easier to kill that tiefling.
I
So
don't think
telepathically,
killing the
what's the plan?
Plan is we gotta kill the tiefling guy, and then I can banish this thing forever.
Where is the
If-
tiefling guy? That's what we need to find out.
I don't know. Let's find out.
If we get the
Faster
statue,
way, not today.
The
Okay.
thingy, will that restore the temple and give us greater power over it? Like, will that diminish its power? Like, is there any purpose there before or during the fight?
Are you asking me?
I think she's just thinking out loud.
I don't know. I didn't even know that this statue existed. Thought I was going to get a nice rock and come back and be celebrated.
Right?
Well, you can pick up a rock as soon as we kill this thing.
Alright.
I mean, we
Oh
could
my
ask her,
God.
right?
What if we ask
I
him real
don't
nice?
think
Hey,
we should bring her out here.
Not him, her. We'll stick
I don't think we
head in
should bring
bag
her
or
out here.
something.
She kind of emanates magic. I don't think we want to.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if we restored her to the temple, would she, like,
If
diminish
we
his
use-
magic, or would it would increase our magic? I don't know.
Why don't you take her out of the bag and ask her if she can help us?
Not here, we should
less
not.
creepy. Apparently, you guys were all scared of this place. Would you make it less scary for you?
Well, Asborn made it less scary for us.
I did, in fact, dispel the magic.
Why don't we use our little eye of seeing and see if we can
Oswald,
find
give
where the
me
tiefling's
a
at?
arcana check again, please.
The eye of knowing doesn't work that way, Tobias.
Oh.
27.
You're
Um,
thinking of scrying.
We have
Oswald,
a scrying.
I have
Oswald,
we have a
you
scrying
pick
eye
up-
too.
Oswald, you pick up on the fact that Baylor doesn't naturally exude magic, which is why he's so resistant to it. The effect of the place was put here by something else. The dispel probably will have triggered whoever put it here that something is going on.
What effect?
Let's set up a trap.
The
then.
terrorize effect.
Oh.
So then
So he knows.
the Hawat knows and is probably on his way here.
What?
So if what Oswald said is true, that's good. We need to kill him so we
Isn't
can kill it.
The tiefling.
Well,
wasn't
then
the
we should
tiefling a
probably get
female?
out of the
Wasn't what?
demon.
Was
No,
the
the
tiefling a
tiefling's-
female or a male?
It was a
I
male.
thought he was male.
It was a male.
Oh,
Did you check underneath the
I think
skirt?
we should get out of here though, because we should. If we're gonna fight this tiefling, we should be away from this Baylor. We don't want to take on both at once.
yeah.
If he
I
comes
also
in here
saw
where we are-
stone golems out there too, so we don't want to fight it with
I'm
stone
not gonna
golems
fight us
around.
without backup. I'm not an idiot.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but if we can make her think we've defeated this thing and we're putting the thing on there, that he might hurry over here and leave his stupid dogs behind.
Yeah, because he flies faster than they run.
So maybe Oswald uses magic to make her think that
Where we actually put the statue on.
we actually are putting the
Store
statue.
her
We
to
defeated
full.
the thing and we're putting the statue on there.
I do feel like statue in its place will.
I mean, guys, if we successfully banish it, which I mean, it likely has a high charisma. If we successfully banish it, how long? If it has an anchor point, how long before it returns back? Is
I
it
mean, the spell
instantaneous?
banish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, feeding off the information Oswald's sharing,
Right.
first of all, it's magically resistant. So it's going to have advantages against all magical saves. Hey,
Right.
thanks for the follow there, Rip
Yay,
Artist.
follow.
Thank you. So you know it's going to be a tough thing to even deal with from a magic relation. The anchor, as far as Oswald's concerned, is that if he does banish this creature, he has the duration of the spell. But you guys also know that Oswald has a way of extending the time as well.
Right.
So
So
if
if it's
he's,
not from this plane, in banish, they can't come back. But
he's
does
anchored.
having an anchor point stop that?
Correct.
That was my question.
Yes.
Okay.
He is anchored, and the suspicion is it's the tiefling that is the anchor point.
Right.
So if we defeat the tiefling, banish the Baylor, and then put the statue on its pedestal, maybe that her magic will protect the area from it being able to come back. At least in this area.
I think it will be prevented from coming back if the tiefling is
Tiefling's dead.
by.
Yeah, so we got to kill the tiefling.
I think either way we need to get out of here. We can't battle both. We could
Yeah,
battle the
we need
tiefling
to-
and the golem
we need to-
simultaneously, but we cannot add a Baylor
need
on there. If
neutral
anything, we need to
ground.
banish it just so I can run in and put the statue on the pedestal.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
fight him on neutral ground. Not here.
I'm
So
gonna send Pepper
currently-
out.
Currently, you guys are at the point where the ripped steel door is on the ground in the round chamber. Ember had gone down all the way to the vault entrance and has come back up. Does anyone have a passive of 19 or higher on perception?
think
Mine is
Fire does.
minus 19.
My passive's 23.
Tobias,
Oh wait, perception.
Are you
21.
serious?
21 is my
Perception?
passive perception.
Fire and Tobias,
Jeez.
you can hear voices and footsteps at the entrance as if somebody's coming down the dirt tunnel.
Guys, somebody's coming.
Somebody's coming.
Quick.
Everybody against the walls.
Can we turn
I get out my pistols.
Yeah, can we hide?
In a
Or at least, like,
round chamber that's devoid of just about everything? Sure.
Who does it sound
I
like?
just want to have a surprise attack.
Yeah, let's go up
We'll get
against
the
the
wall
doors
closest to the
that
door and wait for him to come in.
Mhm.
And then I'll
Should
use
I
my
stay in
spell.
my fart form? What's
no,
the play?
come out of your fart form.
I'm coming out of my fart form.
You were still in fart form this whole time.
I'm
no.
clumsy.
She
Yeah,
is
she's
not
clumsy. She's too
stealthy.
clumsy to. Yeah. She,
Oh,
Just
that's
stealthy
right.
full
Go
plate
hide
armor.
against that door.
So for giggles, everybody give
I'm
me
gonna
stealth
activate
checks.
my right.
Yeah, everybody give me stealth checks because Fire and
That's
Tobias
nice.
heard them coming. You have a couple minutes to prepare.
We still have the.
I don't think we have
Pass
Pass
without a
Without a
Trace.
Trace anymore because I think it's only
20.
10 minutes.
Okay, 16
Oh yeah, dirty
plus
20.
3. I got
Cool.
19. Not bad.
Is it not? Is it?
I thought it's
No,
only
it's
10 minutes.
concentration up to an hour.
It's up to an
Oh,
hour.
never mind.
Concentration
Oh,
up
up
to an
to-
hour.
I got
Okay,
30.
I got 29.
So
31.
I got
21.
15 plus 8 is 23. Yes. And
33
then
then.
33. I got 33.
Got a 21.
There's enough shadow in here because of the poorly magically lit icons that are floating about. You guys all begin to hunker down as best you can within the shadows. Barely able to see each other, but the telepathic bond is still good, correct?
Should be,
I
yeah.
think it only lasts for an hour, doesn't it?
You tell me.
Damage from my right.
bond.
I mean, you still have Pass Without a Trace, so I'd say you're on the very edge of the hour. I'll say that you have
Okay.
about
Okay.
15 minutes left of that hour.
Okay.
Fair enough.
With that, you guys begin to hear.
Does it sound like the golem?
Sounds very much like the golem is roughly making its way down the stairs and into the entrance of this chamber. You watch as a massive stone hand comes out and pulls itself through, and behind it you watch as another one begins to pull itself through. And then you hear a tiefling's voice. Well, I know you're in there somewhere. Better you should have not gotten involved. And then there's an arcane explosion of light in the chamber. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, because my voice is gone.
Oh.
Great stealth rolls, guys. I love them.
They were great stealth
Remember
rolls.
those for next time?
Yeah.
Amazing
We're all
stealth
just like
roll.
against the
However,
wall.
AoE attack.
We could be in the ship hovering above this place, hammering it with lightning cannons.
I was
Wouldn't
behind
help
you
us
on that.
replacing this-
Everyone downloaded it.
I know.
I don't know what to
Yeah,
tell
it
you.
was a hard call.
I'm imagining Tobias up there on one of those lightning cannons.
Get some! Get some! No. All right. Maybe another time. Yeah, and you know what? Your hubby's pissing me off. I'm meta,
You're the only one
I'm
that has a
meta
hubby
right
in there.
now, but he keeps talking about taking away my ship. I'm gonna put a swift one up his butt. No one's
Gotta get you
taking
the
my
Crimson
Githyanki
Mouse
ship.
back. We're gonna get you back.
I don't want a thing that floats on the water.
Hey,
anymore. I want
everybody.
something that floats in the air.
Happy Tuesday. We will be
The king is going to
taking...
get us killed.
We are taking Wednesday off. We will not be watching, and we will not be on Twitch tomorrow. We are supporting a... let me find it here really quick so I know that I have it. It's a day off from Twitch. It's in support of the anti-racist and genderist and slurist bots that we all keep having to deal with, which drives me nuts. And it's bad, and I want them to go away. And I think Twitch should make an extra effort to solve this technical problem and get involved. So we will be supporting the movement. We will be supporting others that are doing the same thing. And we're going to take a day off. And we're going to do other things. And that's okay. Because we need Twitch's help. This is not necessarily to tell Twitch they're doing something wrong. But this is to tell Twitch, hey, help us help you. Come up with a plan. Come up with a way that we can knock this shit off, because it's bad and it needs to go away. This needs to be a safe space for everybody to practice what we all love, which is a la carte entertainment. Give us an opportunity to watch other people, share our stories with others. And so I would encourage everybody just to take Wednesday off. Don't worry about it. Do something else. Read a book, binge a Netflix show if that's your thing, or just hang out, play a game with other folks, and just do something else, and that's okay. I think it's important that we support movements like this because they are nonviolent in nature. It's just merely a way for us to say, hey, fix it. Let's work together and get this shit taken care of. And it's important because I do enjoy the Twitch platform, but I do think it needs to do more. I banned 2 bots today. I banned almost 2 to 3 bots almost every day. And I think it's stupid and silly. It's a waste of time. And it's not nearly as bad as other marginalized shows are, where bots are purposely being dropped into shows with racist slurs, genderized slurs, hate-filled slurs, and I have no patience or tolerance for it. But I don't want to abandon the platform. So, Twitch, please help us help you. That's all we're asking for. So, with that, thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you, Carney, for bringing the wonderful raid. It's late. I need to do some errands before I leave. Otherwise, I'd do a raid, but I just don't have time to kick one off. But I do appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you very much. We will see you on Thursday. No,
Bye,
we will
guys.
not. We have no one-shot this Thursday. So we'll see you Friday for Age of Arcadum. Join the Discord. Check our abouts out. Be safe. Be kind. Play a game at home. Roll some dice. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
Bye.
Good night, guys.
Night.